Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Tonight, we are going to dive into Velopack. For people who are unfamiliar with it, it is an installer updater framework that I am one of the contributors on. So, we are going to get some updates done there. We'll discuss it a little bit, but first, updates. GitCon is coming. So, this is a free online conference from GitKraken. I immediately love it already. There's going to be some really awesome speakers this time around, including yours truly. This is a completely free event, so cost you nothing to sign up. Online, virtual. At least my sessions pre-recorded. I think most of them are. I don't know that for a fact though. Um, but they have some giveaways depending on what you are doing, and depending on who you are, there's kind of two separate days where one is focused a little more on the developer builders, and then part two is kind of focused a little bit more on the leadership data and delivery type thing. So not saying one is developers and the other one's leadership, but that's kind of how things are broken down a little bit. If you are interested. So day one, building there, the ship smarter, not harder, beyond commit with all of the practical GitKraken workflows. I was really excited to put this one on. I Hopefully it comes through. I felt like I had to rush it because I was on a time limit for how long I could go. So if I'm talking a little fast during it, just know I'm watching a clock trying to keep it under the max time that I was given. Um, but I was really happy with the demos. I think I hit every single awesome AI feature in GitKraken, plus cloud patches, work trees, and kind of some of the stuff that maybe we'll see a little bit of being done tonight. I was also building an app while using said app for the presentation. It was just Inception level awesome. I was tickled to death. I came away really excited about it. So if you're interested, gitcon.com has all the happiness. Let me drop that in. And definitely register. I think it is going to be well worth it. Next thing coming up, Spokane.net user group. Once again, hey, look, me. If you are not sick of me, Izzy, Merry Christmas. You're up early today. Good to have you. This is a talk on everything .NET 10 C Sharp 14. So there is a ton of cool stuff that all got released and launched. I've been putting together kind of my itinerary for it, and there's more content than I have hours. So we're gonna be busting through what I think are the biggest, most important announcements. I'm trying to bias it towards the things that are going to have the broadest applicable audience, because there's a lot there. The C Sharp stuff is cool. The .NET 10 stuff is cool, but there's also Aspire, EF, all kinds of stuff. And I might even throw in some VS 2026. Like this year, Microsoft dumped a whole bunch of stuff on us all at once. Like we got all the things revving this year, which was cool. Lots of neat stuff. So if you're interested, this is a hybrid event, both in person and online. If you are interested, if the time slot doesn't work for you, i.e., someone like Izzy, who I know 5 p.m. Pacific is hopefully sleeping hours for sane individuals. It will be up on Intellitek's YouTube channel sometime probably within like a few days afterwards. So in single digits of days of December, it will probably be live if you want to catch the recording as well. If you can't do it live, and you can always find me here if you have follow-up questions. That's the disappointing part about doing it from the recording is you don't have as many opportunities to ask questions. But if you're watching this stream, you know where to find me. So there's that. Let's see. Need extra time to unload and de-ice the car today. Oh, don't do that, Izzy. Did a career talk yesterday and showed off the Enigma bits and some 3D prints. Awesome! That is very cool. I started playing around with different 3D tools to see what I could do. So I was Godot, Godot, and Unity. I started playing with just a bit, just to try to get I wanted to try to get a little bit of a handle of what's possible with each, just to see, because I wanted to try to learn. I didn't get very far. I was kind of just going through some of the getting started tutorials, but I figured I wanted to at least do that much so I so I make a good decision. We may end up back at that very first library you sent to me. I don't know. We're again, I'm trying to understand it so I can do a good thing. But we will circle back to that Enigma stuff. Um, okay. So, couple things. One of the things that happened on um, .NET Conf time frame, or at least it happened that week. I don't know if it was intended to be launched then. System command line. Some of you who have watched this channel for a very long time know that I was involved in that for many years. There was a bunch of stuff that happened at Microsoft, especially during layoffs and shuffling and reprioritizing all this stuff. It kind of felt like it was abandoned a little bit. However, let me, because one of the biggest complaints about it was you've not GA'd it, it's been in preview here for years, when are you going to GA it? Well, guess what? I have an answer. Now, we skipped 1.0 and went straight to 2.0. I haven't been involved in it the last few months. I can't speak to the rationale behind that. But the important part here is it is gone GA. This is awesome. So this is now out. Apparently they don't put their NuGet package as part of their artifacts, but it is out on NuGet.org. We can now pull this in. Like, look, it's me. Yay. So yeah, I've done a little bit of on this project, and so hopefully this gives people some assurances that it is now a full thing. It's a real boy. It is a GA project. Have at it. Start having fun. So Velopack has been sitting on the preview bits for ages. That was one of the things that got me going. And I won't say that it has been a great experience. Like, there's been a lot of stuff going on here. So I want to dive in because I turned Copilot loose on doing the update, and now we have to actually like make it real. So I let it go through and rev the package and start updating the code so it can do quite a bit of it. One of the demos I actually considered for GitCon was actually revving a different library I have on the system command line, because Copilot knew quite a bit in terms of what the refactors needed to be, and worked its way through quite a bit of the rename. So the biggest thing here, if you are looking to change your system command line reference, there was some back and forth in the library where there was a lot of debate between whether something could be called option or whether it needed a CLI prefix of option. And this was a big debate between the .NET Review Board, because there was talk of potentially trying to get it BCLified and all of that jazz, which didn't happen. But after a lot of discussion, it was decided that we needed the CLI prefix. This then necessitated a whole bunch of refactoring. Well, a lot of that got rolled back to a much more stable state where, and I kind of like just the regular name. The argument against it was, well, option's too common. There's going to be other things where options exist, like iOption is another, common .NET type. But once this thing was agreed to ship as a NuGet, I assumed that prefix argument kind of died a little bit on site. So 1 second, I gotta put here a little bit. I got foot pedal. I found one of my very first soldering projects where I disassembled just a standard USB keyboard, pulled the micro controller off of it, and because it has the old school like little black controller where the pins on it are real easily accessible, and I just soldered wires onto the pins to line up with whatever keys I wanted. So I literally have a foot pedal to be my control key. So yes, when you see me struggling for copy and paste or otherwise, yeah, it's now so that I don't have to use my pinky. That's the level of laziness that we are talking about here. Okay, so Control-Shift-E, we're going to pop Visual Studio. I installed the latest preview right before this stream because why not? We got to do all the updates because I haven't been sitting at this machine for the last 2 days, so I didn't get Tuesday's update. Let's see. CMake support with this workspace. I don't think I want actually to do that because the CMake stuff is for the Rust bits, and for this we are just going to be focused on the VPK CLI tool. So that is what we are going to be focused on. So let's just set our startup project there. And then what is targeting net 6? So we may have a handful of things to go through and rev and do. Okay, I'm gonna ignore the build one because that's the other thing I want to go and address. Is I want to get the Velopack build project up and ready to go. So, but this one here, we're gonna just drop net 6 out of the list because that is likely not relevant. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna ignore the other error, and then let's just build this. And I want to go through and double check and make sure this thing continues to run appropriately. I don't know how well we've got tests over this area. Because this is a CLI app, we've got tests over the code that it invokes, but I don't think we have tests over the CLI invocation itself. And if it looks like your eyes are blinking really fast, that's your new AI-powered face recognition to swap camera view modes. Ooh, that would be cool. No, that's more likely, hopefully it doesn't look like that. But it would be cool. I will say I have both been loving and hating AI-based coding recently. Like there are days Copilot just impresses me with what it's able to do. And then like 2 days ago, while refactoring some C# code in a file that was unrelated to what it was working on, it swapped out an open paren for a period. Now, shockingly, that's not possible to do in C# and still have it compile. So yeah, that didn't work. So I was like, Copilot, no, I don't. What? What? I don't know what you. Yeah, I don't know how you got yourself wrapped around the axle on that one. Okay, so this actually just built. So that's kind of exciting to me. I just want to check what this ended up being because it looks like a lot of these are just literal white space on the end of these files. So we're gonna go through, and I just want to. I'm gonna back my zoom level up. Sorry, I need to be able to see a little bit better here. Let's just go path, and we'll do these one at a time. So this one I need to keep. This is just white space. We're gonna discard. I don't want a bunch of stuff with just it. Like I realize the new line at the end is what the formatter wants, but I want to do this without, like, this is already going to be an annoying change for Kalen to review, so I don't want to make his life any harder than it needs to be. So we're going to just keep it simple, straightforward, and get this thing ready to rock. And he may end up wanting to block it until after the MSI stuff merges because there are CLI changes on the MSI branch as well. So this is pretty much guaranteed to cause conflicts, which is the name of the game. But I think the conflicts are going to be simple enough where AI resolution. That's a Linux thing to have a new line before EOF. I think in this case, it's actually something we put in our editor config, but we don't ever run a full dot like this one here, for example, right? Like there's, and I'll see if I can do this right. Like it added this new line here, but there was already a blank line. Like it's kind of like, so I think this was Copilot trying to be helpful and being stupid. But I am aware that we've got some formatting stuff in our editor config, so it would not shock me to find that it messed things up a little bit. So I'm just going to keep resetting these ones that are all just trailing new lines because these are probably not overly relevant. This is why with AI coding, you should always review its work. Watch it like a hawk because it will do things and not always good things. Okay, so this one is obviously something worth reviewing, not worth reviewing. So that's basically what we're doing is worth review, not worth review, and then we'll go through and check it. Because that is what we want. I wonder if there's an easy way. I wonder if I recompose commits, if GitKraken's AI would do this for me. Because it oftentimes groups like changes together. Let's see. I'm gonna just well, we're gonna keep it because there's an actual functional change in there. Bum. Yep, those are just type name changes. Type name changes. Okay. Now we've got legitimate stuff in here. .NET format plus editor config. Yeah, and that is it's one of those I need to apply it down at this level and just rerun it because I'm not confident in our setup for it because we do have our editor config set, but I also know that it's a little dated. CLI option. See, I undid something that I shouldn't have undone. I missed one of them. That's fine. Easy fix. Easy fix. Okay, and then I want to look and see what I've got for tests though. Because I don't think I have a lot of CLI parsing tests, but maybe I do. Let's see, options mapper tests. Okay, so we've got a handful of these things in here that are good. But we do not have great coverage on all of these. So let's at least run these tests and make sure we're good to go there. We'll run those ones. Because this will at least guarantee a minimum level of functionality is good. Okay, so that much isn't bad. And then I'm trying to decide if I want it to do more or not. So what are we actually testing here? Parse result. Unnecessary assignment of parse result. Because this is actually not overly relevant to what it's doing. It's parsing the CLI, but then not asserting anything of value on the actual parsed result. But I was wondering if we're going to run into this. As your download command tests, as your upload command tests. We'll do with path parses value, because these are just the derived ones from the base ones. I'm on. You are on line 22. Yeah, so this one up here is doing the parse results. It's these folder ones down here on the derived classes. Because the way they set it up, and I think Kalen did this because I don't recognize it. Could have been me, but I don't think it was. This abstract is the base for both the Azure download and the Azure upload. And then it's just testing these ones here. But really, it's just validating the prefix of the command. Oh, I guess without this, get required default options. Well, the easiest thing to do is just torch it and see what happens. Yeah, because of how this is being parsed. So this is one of the things that Kalen restructured on the CLI stuff just to make sure it was all working, is to ensure that these ones actually parse correctly. So I think what I'm going to do instead, I'm just going to do an underscore as a way to make sure that it's clear that, hey, we are just not parsing these ones all the way through. Trying to decide if it's worth adding in the extra, because we could turn this sucker loose on doing quite a bit. I could let Copilot actually add a bunch in for me. I'm not sure if I want that or not. I don't know that I do. I think what we're going to do is we're going to send this as is, pat command test. Oh, we never even implemented this because this is OS X, which I will say is a limiting factor for me because I don't have a Mac. So I do rely heavily on Kalen to do all of the OS X testing. Let's see. So assert true. This is wanting an assert equals. That way you get a much better thing. What are you? Oh yeah, and this is why you do assert equals so that the analyzer can flag you when you get expected and actual wrong. That's what you want there. There we go. That's better. Okay, so I think this is probably good. I'm gonna commit this after I make sure that this much runs, and then we're gonna jump on to the other side of the fence because the other side is, and the other side, I mean the build package is the one that most interests me and getting this thing going. Okay, so stage all changes. Grab that, go back to tree mode because I like to be able to collapse these things to see them in this manner. And then we'll see if we want to. Let's see. Do DA 2.0 release. Okay. Move that onto a new line. Do a little bigger so I can see it all. Let's you did okay, magical AI. Okay. Great. Commit. Push. And submit. And then we're going to jump back to my other work tree. And then here I want to jump onto the build project update. So, which means I close this instance of Visual Studio and grab, oh, sorry, Visual Studio installer is wanting to think about doing something and I'm wanting to see what it's wanting to do. Oh, it's apparently going to go and push an update on me. Lovely. I must have clicked a button and not realized I hadn't run it. Okay, well, this guy's thinking about what he's doing. Just going to launch into VS Code and I can continue there. We can code in two situations. VS Code, gimme. Okay, clear that out. So what we are doing here is I'm going to move my head to the right for a moment. The project here, at least underneath the solution, has, oh, shut up. I know you're busy restoring all the things. Go have fun. There are several different things that make up Velopack in and of itself. There is a client library, which is what you end up referencing inside of your application, which we've got various language supports, like you can see C++, C Sharp, Node, Python, etc. There's the VPK CLI tool, which is the .NET Global tool, which now, if you haven't seen it, I just updated the docs the other night. Let's see here. I showed, I think it's in the getting started one. When you go to run, the global tool, you can actually use the fancy new DNX tooling that is released in .NET 10. So you can just do DNX VPK and then you're off to the races. This version here is the version of the global tool, not the version of your library or otherwise. Be aware of that. But you can now do this with any of the .NET tools. So Microsoft added in shorthand support because this DNX is short for, I think it's .NET Tool EXEC. I think is the subcommand, or you can just type DNX. Much shorter. It's only 3 characters. I don't think anyone's going to type the long one. But here we go. Did it finish already? The studio's already done. Oh. But in this case, what we are looking to update is the Velopack build project. So this is a project that adds MSBuild support into Velopack. And some people are going to hate me, and some people will love me. But the idea is, rather than needing to do any of, like, you still have to do this step here, because I don't know inside of your app where you want to do the Velopack app build run. And you still have to do the update checks because, again, in your app, I don't know how you want to do update checks. I've contemplated putting together kind of some helper libraries where some common use cases, like you're building a WPF app with my .NET template, right? Like I can pre-can in a way that I like to do updates in my .WPF template, and then if you like it, keep it. If not, throw it away and put your own stuff in. Because it really depends on how you want to do it. Most of the time, I literally will just have my apps update on startup and just prompt to push it through, but you can have them do it whenever. But rather than needing to go through and do the .NET tool install and um, the VPK pack, and then followed by the VPK publish, the Velopack build project aims to just do MS Build support, so that when you run .NET publish, it does the needful for you. You don't have to think. You're off to the races. Good to go. That's kind of the goal of what we want, right? So, given that, what we would like to do, and this branch here that we are on is where I've started down this path of building this out, and you can see it's gone. I let Copilot start, and it jumped off the deep end. But before, what we did is we tried to, when you make a MS Build task, there's actually not a single framework you can target, because you get a different runtime whether you're being targeted by a project run inside of Visual Studio or if you are run from the .NET CLI. And so most of the time when people build MS Build tasks, which is like, well, for example, here's the publish task, right, which is deriving from my own task, which derives from theirs, you end up having to build a package that targets multiple .NET frameworks. You can also do Net Standard 2.0. You might be able to do 2.1 now. I don't recall. But often you'd either target Net Standard 2.0 or you'd have to multi-target in order to be able to build something appropriate, right? That was the way it worked. And the problem is that meant that every assembly that this thing called had to have something equivalent. And that was biting us on a lot of our other Velopack libraries. And so rather than fighting with this, what we decided is, okay, we can work around this by just having the Velopack build project do the needful by executing VPK for us. Because really, at the end of the day, what we're looking to do is build up that VPK command and then just run it. Because when you reference this project, you end up picking up this build props. Oh, dear heavens. It did not format that nicely. Let's see here. There, that's better. You pick up this build props and this build targets file, which is what does all of the actual work. So when you run .NET Publish, we can actually register up our targets with the appropriate conditions to run as part of that MS Build task, which is pretty cool, right? It means that magically things just appear and you're off to the races, right? I'm immediately noticing one problem here. That ain't gonna work if we don't change that to an 8, because that is no bueno. Now I'm a little paranoid and I just want to search net 6 because I want to make sure that we've actually those net 6 references I think are all perfectly fine. Yeah, because all of those are for like we're for people using the library inside their app. Which is great, or trying to bootstrap with it. Also fine. Okay. So what we have here is Copilot went and built out these publish tasks for us, which was ever so nice of it, and kind of obnoxious. Really the big thing that these tasks are doing is they are getting the VPK tool and then wanting to actually invoke it. And so now we got to clean up the mess that AI has made. So it got me a chunk of the way there. Now we tell it, thank you very much. Shut up, let the real engineers work. So we're going to start with pack, I think, and we'll just go through this straightforward. The one nice thing that it did do is it did go through and build up all of my options for me, because that was going to be a rinse repeat problem, and I like that much better. There is almost assuredly some common code that can be pulled out here because both of these are doing effectively the exact same thing. So we probably need to consolidate those together. I do want to look at how these things are actually working, to make sure that I agree on where this is going to go. And of course, it doesn't know how to use what do you? Oh, Substring can be simplified. I know it can be, but can it be simplified? It probably can't be simplified on all targets, can it? Why aren't you... I know the simplification. It's the range operator. Range it. You're going to complain that now it can't be... Yeah, okay, so that's the problem. Trying to remember when the range class was added to the BCL. Okay, so we're going to just come in here. And then this is... You can be static. And then I want to look at .NET Tool Runner, because what is this guy actually doing? So this is actually taking, and this is where I'm not confident if I like this solution or not, because this is allowing it to look at and run VPK from either if you've got it added as a local tool or bringing it in as a global. And I don't really want that, because at the end of the day, what I want this to be is a singular, you add this package and then you're done. We don't need extra stuff. So I'm kind of questioning if I want this tool runner to actually be a thing, or if I just want to embed VPK inside of it. Because if we go out and look, let's take a look here. If I go and pull nougat.org, VK, right, and we look at the tool, right, because this is a tool thing, and we just open it in Package Explorer. Be back over on the left. Come on, download, run. All right, so this guy here comes in, and this requires having this guy set up. I'm just wondering, can we build a NuGet package that has a dependency on a tool package? I don't know what that does. Let's test. I honestly don't know what happens if you bring in a NuGet package, or if you bring in a tooling package as a let's see. Gotta clear my terminal. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so mkdir tool test. Right, .NET new console will be fine. Bum. Right. Actually, what I really want is this open in V code. So let me just do. No, stop it. Go away. Explore. Where are you? Way over on the wrong. There we go. So I'm curious, if I add VPK as a NuGet pack, what is that actually going to do? That's not the way you are supposed to do it. If I go here, does it? I can't imagine that they filter. If I do this, and I install you as a NuGet package, I think I just get the package down, don't I? As a package type of .NET tool that is not supported by Project Tool Test. So it does get a little unhappy if you end up trying to reference one the wrong way. Okay, so we may want to we may want to just package VPK inside of this. I may just want to package this in directly. That way it just works. I think that's what I want to do. I don't know that I want to do anything different. Trying to decide if I would ever go a different direction. And I don't think I do. I think I want to just bundle in the tool and bring it in because I think at the end of the day, what I'm looking to see is a package. We go out to nougat.org and look at the one that's out there now. And so for reference, if you're using Velopack build, don't. Um, it's the current state of it is a little broken, which is why we've not released a full package version of it yet, because it is not ready for that. Why it's still pre-release. It got released here with this one, but I think what we want to do is we want to I think I just want to put a tools folder in and just literally pull in. I think I just want to pull it in and do that. I think that's probably better. I think that's exactly what I want. I'm now questioning if I do that, is there a reason why I don't just pull in? There's a reason I don't just pull in this pack DLL directly and run. Because they are all just public. I could just reference this. The issue being that then I have to net 467 this library or 472 that library because this is the part of the this is what was making it difficult before is we had this 472 dependency floating throughout the code and we wanted to break it. And I think that's the way we're going to end up doing this. I think we're going to break this. I guess I still have to do the CLI invocation. Okay, so we want to change this up. Let's get ourselves back into a compiling state first. And then I think we're going to change up this tool. Like this tool resolver is going to die because we aren't going to have this tool mode any of this bits. Surely no one still uses 472. Oh, Izzy. Oh, oh how I wish that were the case. How I wish everyone was off of it. For reference, anyone who hasn't looked at Stephen Taub's performance improvements in Net 10, like there's so many improvements you gain just by revving yourself up to Net 10. I've revved 3, 4 different services up to Net 10 now with basically no pain. The biggest pain was getting the tooling updated in relevant pipelines. The code change on my apps has almost been exclusively change the 9 to a 10. That's it. So if you're already on 9, it was easy. If you're already on 6, 7, 8, it's probably very easy as well. If you got warnings as errors, you might get some new stuff flagged at you that you have to go clean up. Great, fine, not a big deal. Okay, so what do we got here? This is just dead namespaces, so we're just gonna. Why are you unhappy that this logging doesn't exist? It exists on one of them. Something really, I don't know why it's refusing to clean up. If I do that, oh, it's clearly there. Okay, wait a minute. Why do I have net 5 or greater? Uh, net 6? Hello? And actually, I think we just bumped this to 8, didn't we? Yeah, so net 8. We're going to go there for a moment. 8. Because it, oh, and this pulled this guy in. Start redirecting. Wait a minute. This is because I file it. Hold up. Undo all changes in this file. This one we want to ignore, and we want to, because I pulled it in because we had some process stuff that looked like it was going to be helpful, and I think I just rejected that idea. We are going for running state first, or compiling state first, and then we're going to go break this. Yeah, because I think we're just going to delete the mode. We're going to change all of this up because I don't think we're going to allow. We're not going to allow setting the VPK tool source, tool mode, tool version. All of that's going to die. Let's see here. Argument builder. Ba-ba-bum. Yeah, so let's just do this for the moment. We're gonna just do this, whack that out just to get that going, and then we're gonna return double empty for the moment, and then we'll get this thing. Yeah, you're gonna flag me all over on the configure awaits, no reference thing. Great, great. Lots of warnings to be yelled at about. Got it. I get it. You're unhappy. You don't like me. I deleted a file you wanted to keep, but we're changing up. We're changing up, Copilot. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to just accept the fact that I'm the real engineer. And yes, Copilot, I'm gonna do things slower and dumber than you. Get used to it. Okay, argument builder test. Well, I deleted that file, so the test class can go with it. So that's a good sign because that means we are down to just that. Boom. Okay, we are compiling. Good. Good, good, good. Let's make us not compile anymore. Okay, so step one. Mode enum. Tool mode itself is just going to die. That's not going to be a thing that exists. In fact, I think we kill this whole thing. Yeah, we can kill this whole class because we're not going to have any, like, we're going to bundle the tool in. Let's see. Resolve tool, this is going to go away. So this whole file dies. Then we're going to see how much of a mess that makes. Okay, so a little bit of a mess. Parse tool mode, that dies. That has to be the right answer. Deleting code is almost always the right answer. Let's see. Tool mode, pre-release tool source, skip tool install. We're going to just get rid of all of that. Actually, I want to hunt this string before I nuke it. Then I'm going to nuke it. Because I think I want to kill off all usages, which is almost assuredly going to lead me down a path of clearing out more stuff. So this guy here is all dead. This guy here is all dead because Copilot really, really likes to duplicate stuff. Because reasons. Right? Two classes that have a common base, why would it put it in the base class? That would make too much sense. That would not be the way of the Copilots. Okay, so then these ones here, I think we skip all of these. None of those need to exist. And then down here, all of these go away. And same with here. We go. Okay, so that gets us to there. Ideally, I want to go through and plug this into one of my apps to see it actually work. Okay, and then this is going to clean up some stuff here. Let's see here. Auto. This, like, dear heavens, Copilot, like, this is, no, this is not, no. Like, bad Copilot. I'm going to ban reflection calls. Keep you from doing stupid stuff. Because you do not test by reflecting in on the private functions. Okay, so that's obviously going to leave us broken, but let's see how broken. I think then we want to go and take a look at what we're doing here. Here we go. Okay, config doesn't exist in current context. Okay, so the idea here before was it would resolve the tool and then it would do this .NET tool runner. I think what I want to do instead is I think I want to just rename this to VPK tool runner. And then we're just going to beat this thing into submission, I think. Is it's the one that has run tool. And so I think I just want run tool to take in the relevant like command line configure bits, and I don't want it to do anything. I want VPK lowercased. So I don't think we need the resolver at all. I don't think this is going to be a relevant thing. The resolution of where the tool is found is going to be handled in that other class. This is all about finding it in the global versus local tool. So yeah, so we're going to just burn this class to the ground too. Head is in the way. That's why I can't see it. Okay, delete. There we go. Okay. So resolver's going to die. Tool's going to die. And then we're going to rename you to VPK tool runner, I think is going to be the thing. And then the key part here is we're going to need to package this guy up so that the VPK output ends up inside of this guy. So we're going to end up with a dependency on those, which is fine. We can add that. Okay, yeah, because this guy has all the process start stuff, blah, blah, blah. Great. That's kind of what we want to get to. Update tool async. See, this is going to die. Don't need any of this. We don't need install tool. Like, we're just going to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Run tool we want to keep. We won't need tool name because that's just going to be VPK. Get installed version. We won't need that. The installed version is the one that's installed. Great. Okay, so what do you want? Primary constructor? Sure. Primary constructor that beast. Do that, and then I don't need to worry about that. Okay, so that gets me to there. I like that a lot better. We may not care too much about that because we are going to have a small amount of, and this is why I was looking at our core one for our process stuff. I may want to split that file and still bring it in because we do have this process extensions. Because this is the file that I had file linked in before, because it does have some useful stuff for like starting process, redirecting output, watching it, appending command line arguments, doing all of that stuff in a nice manner, because we polyfilled some of the things in to bring us nice support for actually running processes. So I think we may end up the disadvantage here is this guy has this line right here. So we may end up needing to split this file across two, and then file link in the bits that we want. That way we can file link this without the Velopack logger, because I don't want to pull this as well. There's no real reason for bringing this one in, because this is a public-facing thing, and this is going to be all internal. So we may end up doing that. But let's get ourselves compiling again before we get too carried away. Tool doesn't exist in current context. Okay, so log message. Executing VPK pack with args. That's fine. We need to change run tool to be, we'll leave the VPK there. We don't need the is local anymore. That's going to go away. And I think we may be setting the, we'll leave working directory for now. I don't think we actually want it though. No, because we want to run in the context of where we're ever started from. So we're going to get rid of that. Let's see here. Whack that, whack that, whack that. Yeah, we're just gonna cruise right on through this, because I don't think I actually want any of that bit in there. So this guy running, let's see. So what is that? Environment variables. I don't think we. I'll leave the environment variables there, but I don't think we have a reason to need those. It wants configure await. Great. This is mildly needed for the net framework stuff for people who are confused about this. Configure await, when you hit an async and an await inside of C#, everything that follows it gets kind of bundled into a promise or a continuation or callback or whatever terminology makes sense in your language. Um, and the question is, who executes that? What thread? Um, configure await true says, hey, if the calling thread actually had like UI context, the continuation should also be back on that same UI context. If it didn't have any execution context, or synchronization context, whatever, right? Anyone can pick it up. And because there are some cases where you might have one of those, specifically in Net Framework, configure await false is a performance boost because it says, I don't care who runs my continuation. First guy available gets to do it. So that's what the analyzer is flagging there, is saying, hey, we'll let anyone do it. Great. Okay, so that guy is there. Continue on our quest to murder all the bad code. That's going to go there. It's got this idea that there's environment vars there. Let's see. This is VPK publish. I don't think we need that. Do that. We aren't going to use the is local. We said we were going to kill the working directory, so that much is going to work. It wants the configure await false again. Put that in. Great. Squawking about these. If it's not null or white space, possible null reference exception. Yes, but no. The reason it flags this as potentially null, even though we explicitly have a null or white space check here, is because this is a property. So the getter is invoked here, and then it's also invoked again here. So it's technically the getter could return two different values. Practically, nah. So we're just gonna null suppress. I don't even know if this is how we want to end up doing it, but we'll just null suppress for the moment to get it to shut up. And we'll come back to it when we need to. Okay, working directory does not exist. Correct. So let's see, we are run.net command. We're going to axe working directory out of here and then axe it out of here. Then we're going to axe it out of here. Okay. This is obviously going to need to be renamed. Yeah, so we're going to just run VPK. And we're going to change this to VPK do get full path. Because we are going to need to find the appropriate one to grab. And it may end up actually still needing to be a .NET command. We'll check. I don't know that I can assume that it won't be. But I've got GitHub runners, so we can run it on different platforms and find out. Okay, so that gets me to there, gets me to there. Compile again. Make sure we're in a building state, and then we'll work backwards from there. Looks like tests are next. Let's see. So this test is complete garbage now because we got rid of it. Configuration should allow setting all properties. Worthless test. Let's see. Actually, VPK configuration tests are complete trash as well. So we're just going to kill those. Resolve tools is probably trash as well. The whole file is trash. Great. Look at this. So much less code. Oh, so true is really meaning something like I want to return to the same thread, which likely to be UI thread. I've been using that all wrong. So close, Izzy. And this is one of the things that always hates me. There's so much nuance around this. Configure await true says return back to the calling synchronization context if present. So it doesn't guarantee that you're going back. It all depends on who calls you. So likely going back to so it was added because of things like WPF, WinForms, etc., where there is a UI thread, and it makes a lot of sense to say, hey, when I click a button, I want to go do this asynchrony thing, and then afterwards I want to update my UI. And so if the thing after the await didn't come back to the UI thread, you couldn't touch your UI. Problem. Which is why it was there. But it's also a performance bottleneck when you say my continuation really needs to be run by the UI thread. Therefore, I'm going to wait until he's ready, even if somebody else is available, another thread is available to process me right away. Which is why configure await false is preferable when the thing in the continuation doesn't actually care about which thread picks it up. Right? So true means it might go back to the original thread if there was a synchronization context to go back to. Because if you hit that await with configure await true and you're on a background thread already, and the caller was a background thread, there is no synchronization context to go back to, so configure await true just doesn't do anything. So that's the kicker. It's back to the original when it has a synchronization context. Background threads from the thread pool don't have one. UI threads do. So depending on who the caller was, you may or may not get back to the original. Which is, it's kind of expected. Though, like, the longer I sat and thought about it, it's like, well, that's kind of the behavior I want. But it's confusing. As soon as something goes wrong and you have to, like, mentally do the gymnastics to understand why this thing is right or wrong, it then gets much more interesting. Requires CLI and network access. Oh, dear heavens, Copilot. You are a fascinating exercise in dear heavens, what the heck have you done? Yeah. We're just gonna murder this. Yeah, we're not. No, we're not doing that. Okay. Yeah, that is. I may still be using it wrong. May explain why some of my apps seem to have UI stalls. Yeah, you certainly can be, and it is a way to cause a UI hang with a configure await true. Like, it absolutely is. So usually what I tell people to do is set it to configure await false always and see if you get a cross thread exception. Like, oftentimes that's how you're doing it. And especially if you're in an MVVM setup, most of the time, if you're inside of a view model, you probably don't care. Because if you're just updating a simple property, the binding handles the synchronization back to the UI. Because when the binding updates the property, that effectively sets a dirty flag on the UI to say, on the next paint, this thing needs to be updated. So you don't, on a regular binding, you don't even have to worry about the UI thread that much. Observable collection is one of the few cases where that's not entirely true. But there is under the binding operations class, there's a static method called enabled collection synchronization to work around that. So effectively, you give it your own object to say, hey, here's the thing that we're going to synchronize on, so that if you touch this from background thread or I'm touching it from the UI thread, we both agree on what object we're going to lock on to synchronize to be able to interact with this. In MVVM, I just use the messenger, send messages back to the UI thread. Yeah, that certainly works. The only thing you do have to be a little careful of is when you do that messenger send, with the MVVM framework, those message sends are synchronous calls. So if you are doing a messenger send and the receive message on the other side does a lot of work, that can potentially be problematic. And it's one of those weird things because you don't really want the sender to have to think about that. And usually what that means is I will do, like, on the UI thread, like on the receive, I'll do like a dispatcher begin invoke. That way the UI can receive the message, but the begin invoke queues up a handler to actually do the UI updates on the next pass around, because you can also set dispatcher priority, where you can say, okay, queue this callback to run on the UI thread, but honestly, I don't need it at the highest priority, because I think dispatcher priority normal is about in the middle, if I remember correctly, with like user input being right near the top or that kind of thing. So you can kind of decide what level of priority does this UI callback need to be done at that level. And once you're on like a code behind or similar for that receive, like you've got full access to the dispatcher and anything you need to do. Okay, there's that. Okay, so we are back compiling. So then let's go through, and I would like to get this thing building properly. The code is all kinds of wrong, but I need to be able to test this to know that we are running properly. So I would like to look. Do we not have our? Oh, there's my build YAML. I was like, I thought we had all of our stuff in here. Oh, but we don't have our full thing in here. So let's. Nope. What did I just do? Give me back. I would like to add in GitHub folder. I would like to add in. Oh, nope, not new item, existing item. Add existing item. GitHub. I think I want to do workflows as well, because I think I just want to add all of these in. I like to be able to search these from Visual Studio. It doesn't matter as much in other IDs, but the GitHub, workflows, and then give me all of these. Gimme. What? The current open solution file. Oh, is build.yaml inside of GitHub? Oh, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to remove this one because I actually would prefer it nested in the relevant thing. Get there. There we go. Now we can talk. Okay, so build packages is going to be inside of here, download Python, and really what I'm looking for is the Velopack build. Because where does it actually grab it? Build samples. Pack.build. I have a strange feeling we're picking it up by accident by virtue of the probably a .NET pack or something at the solution level. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering. There we go. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, iProcessor or whatever it's actually called. I use that to do inter-thread messaging, and usually the handler just reroutes the context via iMessenger. Ah, okay. Yes. Yes, it is. Though iProcessor is iProcess is probably your own or another library. I don't recognize that as a built-in type. But yes, it's very common to see that pattern set up somewhere. I'm surprised this doesn't show me what I expected. Load core bins, pack. I am wondering if this is actually, if it's been dropped already. Download VPK, download lib. Check out, generate release. Like, Kalen did some exceptional work on all these pipelines. Let's see, public NuGet packages. Yeah, see, this is what I was worried about, is we've got something of this nature where it's ripping through all of our packages and grabbing them. And we are probably picking this up by virtue of the fact that it is just grabbing all of these. Let me look out on the repo real quick because I think this is probably not. I think this is probably not adding in the job summary. Oh, because this isn't going to be I need to build off of main branch, or I guess a build off develop. I need to look at the artifacts here, but this guy is expired, so I don't have one to look at. Dang it. Okay, I think it's been dropped. And I think we just do a .NET pack on the solution, if I remember correctly. And because of that, we don't end up with any of these. Because looking at this, there's nothing. Workflow build packages. And this guy here, I believe, has to have Python, Rust, because I don't even see the VPK NPM pack. Like, where is the VPK pack? Because obviously that's going. And I don't see. Oh, I bet you this is it. I bet you it's got pack on build set. I bet you that's what's happening is we're running. I bet you that's how it's doing it. Let's see. Pack on build. I see the name. Pack as tool. I don't see pack on build being set, but let me just search. Because I believe the MSBuild property is called pack on build. But I have to believe it's this line right here that's doing it that is getting us there. So, because this guy does have the build props, that's got to be set on here. It's got to be set on one of these output path, before, path map, product, and assembly, blah, blah, blah. Doing the versioning. Let me just look at the output directory and let's see if we see the NuGet package there. Because I want to be able to run the command locally. The wrong screen. And actually get the output. So release, does that have all the packages? It does have all the packages in it. That has it there, and under debug, I see a whole bunch of build packages in here. So, and if I do date modified, yeah, look at that. There it is. So it is packaging these things up on build. Okay. Perfect. Because 953, that was probably the last time I had a successful build. Perfect. And then I need, do I have NuGet Package Explorer? I don't think I have it. Okay. A wonderful little app. WinGet search. Let's do NuGet Package Explorer. Go find it. Find me or get me close to the name. Not it. Search NuGet. There is. Why is the only hit coming from the store? Really? That really? I could have sworn there was a. Sorry, I'm searching the Windows Store real quick because I want to see the store listing for this. Oh, look at that. It is, in fact, the app that I'm looking for. Claims installed. Okay. Or it claims it is owned by me. Okay. I guess we could always use maybe that's why we don't have it, is you can use the browser-based one here as well, I guess, to do it, right? Is I can go here, browse, and then I can grab my Velopack one this way and get to it. So if I do this, right, and I go build and I go debug, I can come in here, date modified, and grab, this is the symbols NuGet package. We want this one, right? And that's probably why I don't see the app, is they just favored the browser-based one. So this is fine that it's got the build stuff, right? We can look at the files inside of each of these, which is good-ish. This is not quite what we want to get to. We want to kill off a good chunk of these and get them down a lot smaller. So, but the good part is now we've got, okay, so all I have to do is compile and then load the NuGet package to test. Great. Great, 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 great. That is what we would like. So inside of here, what are my dependencies? I don't know why it is still picking up the other Velopack stuff because Velopack build is down to just that. So I think I just need to clean my output and then repackage because what I was seeing is all of the extra um, Velopack libraries in here, like packaging, shouldn't be there. So this guy, I think we just need to clean him up. I'm gonna just whack all these too. We go. Okay, and then we're gonna rebuild and see if those things go away. Because I have a feeling it was just grabbing all the assemblies from around there. Okay, so now if I come in here, great. New package. We're off to the races. File open. Do you remember my last path? Of course you don't. Okay. Let me grab the store app because this is going to get annoying beyond belief. Open local package. Actually, I think I can just drag drop if I remember right. I think I can just literally go whoop and do that. There. Much easier. Okay, so we have build 472. Okay, we are down to something that resembles a lot smaller than what we had before, and we can probably get this even smaller than that when all is said and done. Okay. Because we probably won't need half this stuff. Get this all the way down. Great. Great, 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 great. Okay, but the rest of those I'm not as concerned with. I got to close that dialog to move my browser. Okay, so we've got all of these because some of these are going to be coming from the build utility stuff. Great, fine, whatever. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to get in the VPK tooling. So we want to take the output from VPK and we want it embedded inside of the tool folder inside of here. So I'm going to let Copilot loose on this so I don't have to figure out the syntax. I want the NuGet package generated from Velopack build to include the compiled output from the Velopack VPK project inside of the tools in my NuGet package. Okay, Copilot, impress me. Make it so. Because it should be, like I know roughly what I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see the dependency get added and then a handful of MSBuild stuff explicitly mapping with a globbing pattern that the output from Velopack VPK into here. Project dependency. That may or may not be okay. Do a project dependency. Tools net 6, net 8, net 9. We don't need all of these. And I'm curious, I don't think this project reference works for the 472. So, like, this is kind of what, you're close, Copilot, but I don't think it's going to compile. Let's see. Great, now let me run a build. Yeah, good. Conditionally for the net 8 target. And that's fine, I think, because I think it will be okay if we just reference it that way. Because Velopack build is 472 and 48, so we don't ever need. Verified, compiled successfully. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Thank you. Now shut up. Keep, and then let me edit this. No, shut up. Keep. Let keep. I just want to. Okay, so let's rebuild this guy and then retest him. I want to see what that ends up doing. I think once we rebuild, I can literally just go reload. Or am I getting the? I might be getting the MSBuild output app confused here. Close. Come on. Though I realize that now that there's a project dependency, every time I go to build Velopack build, it is going to have to do all the dependencies. Okay, so we immediately have problem one. Is it ain't in there. So that's problem one. Let's see here. Before targets generate new spec. I think we actually only. Because I'm not sure that this is the right target to do this in. I don't know that we don't think have many examples, but actually the build targets file is probably the closest. But these are triggering on the publish. So let's just pull open the MS build log on this, I think. Yeah, I think that's the way we do this. Let's see here. So CD private Velopack. Let's see. I think it's yeah. CD source. Let's see. CD. I think this is where it is. Nope. Where are you located? Oh, it's under the VPK directory. Got it. CD VPK. Velopack build. .NET build, and then -BL for binary log. So I want to see what this thing ends up doing. Yeah, because once you reference VPK, you pick up all the downstream dependencies, which is pretty much the rest of the library. Why are you flagging me here? Still want to update again. Okay, wow. Didn't you have enough fun with your updates? Okay. So, show me the bin log. Oh, why not have that tool either? Oh, I've got the structured log viewer. Application not found. It must not be registered as a must not be registered as the handler for that file type. That's fine. Looks like it is. Okay, so what we do here. So for those people who haven't seen this, this is how you debug your MS Build stuff. So we're gonna start with this target here and just hunt it to see our target didn't run, which that's probably a pretty good indication as why it didn't work. Which means the generate new spec target that it tried to bind to probably doesn't exist. Okay, so that kind of works. Let's see. Generate new spec depends on all of these things here, but I'm curious where the generate new spec depends on actually gets consumed. Pack depends on generate new spec. Target generate new spec. So let's see. This guy ran. So how come our target didn't get picked up for this? Let's see. Is newer. Because this target was selected, which means ours should have been included. I guess the question is, was target framework net 8 at the point it got here? And it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't. But I think we don't need to condition here. I think we just want this. And I'm kind of tempted to just whack this guy here. Because the only reason for having this, is we're not referencing the output assembly, so we won't get a dependency there. Private assets, it's setting it up completely as private. I don't know what, oh, visible, so it's hiding it. What's visible false doing here? This isn't bringing anything in my item group, is it? Like, I realize visible false is useful for hiding things, but I don't think it's relevant here. So I think now if we do this, build again, this should just work. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, we got that. File close. Bring that in. Not there, so that's still no worky. Come here, we go F5, reload it. And then this guy down here, generate new spec. Why would it not pick this up? Why would it not load our build? This guy here came in. Okay, so it's before target, generate new spec. That feels right. Oh, I wonder if it's because it, oh. I bet you it's this one here. That because we don't have this generate new spec depends on. I bet you this guy is okay. I bet you it is being set and then it's being overridden. I bet you that's what's happening. So I think what we want to do is something slightly different. We want to take that guy there, and I think I want to do generate new spec. Grab this because I don't want to botch this. I think I want to do depends on. Then I want to grab the current value that's in there, and I want to just append me to it. Because I bet you what's happening is because we are just registering up, we are probably getting overridden. Let's try this again. Because what I expect to see is my target being invoked before generate new spec gets invoked. Because when you do a before targets, MSBuild figures out the dependency tree between all of your targets and goes, oh, okay, I got you. And then promptly invokes. And so typically I would expect to see mine up here. Now you're not guaranteed. Wait a minute. I am right here. I am here. I am being picked up. Huh? This guy had. Why is this one not? Why is it grayed out? Why is this one grayed out? And honestly, I guess why does it need to be in a target? We could just bring it up here. Because this is effectively doing the exact same thing. Kind of wondering if I care. Let's F5. Because we just ran again. So it is picking up my target. I missed that it was in there. Okay, so it is skipped. Why? Navigate to where the target was built initially. Okay, so it did run this. So it was skipped because it was previously done. Okay, that's totally fine. Totally fine. So the question then is, huh? So let's close this out and let me grab the output one because the latest change is 1025, which was 2 minutes ago, but it doesn't have anything in there. So why does it not have anything in there? I am confused. Um, I kind of want to look at the sets of items and see why it wasn't why it was dropped or otherwise. Um, Here we can see the add items, none that have a package path put on here. I'm just looking to see if there's all of those of where they got brought in. Target add NuGet vendor libs. Where is that target? Why am I just missing something? There is a target in here somewhere that I am clearly overlooking. It's not there. It's not there. There an extra props? Self-contained. That's not it. Where the heck is that target? So this one here, if I double click it, private Velopack source directory build targets. Oh, look at that. So this is adding in all the vendor stuff. Ah, ha 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 ha. Package vendor libs if it's true. Oh. The Izzy just got to my coffee shop. The iProgress thing is, I think, is what I meant, I think. It was something you introduced me to when reviewing my Media Finder app. Ah, that does kind of sound like me. So this is added in here. Oh, but this is occurring before build because we're doing pack on build. Oh, got it. So what probably needs to happen is this needs to be for build. I'm just wondering, this should be fine in this order. We'll just need to test it from a clean slate because I do wonder the order of operations here. Right? We go through and we build this. I just need to make sure, yeah, because VPK build should be done first. Now, if I close and grab the latest, still no bueno. Still no bueno. This guy here is going with build this file directory and then grabbing actually, I'm wondering if I should be grabbing it from the build output directory now, because I think that might actually be what I want. Because I think I do want the I think I do want this. I think I do want this, and I think I want add NuGet vendor libs, add NuGet VPK. I think this is actually what I want to do here. And then Velopack package VPK dependency. And then we're going to take this. We're going to come over to this is the place where I want to do this. I don't know. Actually, I don't think this is where I want to do it. I think I still want to do it in the project, but I think I want to then reach up higher. Because I think I want to reach higher for it. And I think I want to use this well-known path to be able to reach up. Because if we look at where this guy is located, I need to go up 1, 2, 3, and then into build. So let's start with there. 1, 2, 3, build, and then we want configuration, and then we want believe net 8 / publish. Net 8 publish / that's what I want, I believe. Okay. Try this again. Now we should be getting useful stuff out of here. So I'm only compiling from the command line so I can specify the binary logger switch. I just find it easier to do on the command line. You can go through in Visual Studio and specify optional command line arguments, and there's something in the project properties to specify binary log as well, so you can get it out that way. I just find it easier to do this. We are going to hope for the best. We are going to close, and we are going to grab this guy. This guy. Boom. Then back to here. Here. Oh, back. Ah ha 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 ha. Tools, net 8. There we are. Okay. That was way too hard. Way too hard. But now we've got VPK inside of our directory. So what that means is we should be able to invoke, regardless of which version of MSBuild comes in, we can find VPK because it is bundled alongside of everything that we need. Now, I am wondering if I need anything else because go look at because VPK I believe looks for vendor packages, and so I'm intentionally trying to structure this so it looks real similar. Yeah, so it's underneath tools net version. Oh, but it wants net any, and then it wants to be inside of it. Okay. That's kind of where we're going. I want to grab. I want this to be the same idea, only with that. Migrate. No, I don't think it is. Because I was briefly considering going through and doing the idea of having the VPK, changing the dependency order, have VPK take the dependency, conditionally take the dependency on build, and then just generate a separate NuGet package. But I think that's harder. Believe that's harder. But I don't think this matters. I don't think that matters. You just might have to check like the MSI building to make sure that it can appropriately find Wix. I think it's actually going to be okay because from here it's going to go up 1, 2, and then look for a vendor folder up 2 and over. Whereas this one, it is going to go up 1, 2, and look for a vendor folder. I think it's okay in both cases. I think it works. And then it should be fine. That is the game plan. Okay, so we've got it bundled in. Now that we have that, let's. I think the easiest thing for me to do is grab one of my projects. That way we can just reference this and bring it in. So I don't need you anymore. Let me just grab, this was the project I was playing around on. And let me just swap it out. Because I do also want to make sure we get a downstream package dependency on Velopack, which right now there are big heads in the way. Right now there are no downstream dependencies, and I want it to have a downstream dependency on Velopack because the idea is that I want to be able to replace this with this and just be done. That's the game plan. And then have all of the everything just work. So I think if I just go and add a package dependency, add project reference, and if I just add a project reference here, I don't really want to, if I do the project reference, I'm going to get all of the, oh wait, no, I don't have to. What I can do is add project reference. I can do the same thing that we did up there, but I can do it just like this. Except for I don't want the condition on this one, but I pretty much want everything else. So I want to go here, and I want to bring this guy up, and then I want to bring this guy across for project reference. Stay. And then I want to grab this stuff because I don't want any of this to be referenced, but I want it to build a package that has a dependency. Build that. Because I want it to have a downstream dependency on it and just pull in the relevant Velopack one. Okay, so that got me to there. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Close. And then this should, in theory, didn't add the dependency. Probably because it doesn't know it needs it. Okay, I think this is wrong, but I want to confirm that that if I just package reference it, it'll work. Let's pack. There is a, like, in ye olden days before we had good packaging tooling, we used to have to generate the new specs and do all kinds of wacky stuff to make the dependencies work and show up the way we wanted. Nowadays, the .NET tooling should do it for us. Yes. My package got bigger. Close. I think these are the same file names. If I E80, this is going off the commit hash. Yeah, still no dependency, which bothers me a great deal. I don't have any libs in here, which is fine. How do I get the Copilot? I want the Velopack build NuGet package to have a dependency on the Velopack NuGet package. Yeah, do that. Make that happen. Yeah, that's fine. Package reference. No, 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 no. Stop. No, what I mean, oh, both packages are built from within this repository. When I pack the velopack.build, it also creates the Velopack NuGet package. I want to have a dependency between these at build time. Stop. Yeah. Thanks, Copilot. You're a real pal. What we started with. Okay. It went private. Oh, it went private assets none. Oh, did I just get that backwards? We need to ensure the project reference is set up correctly. That might have configuration. Yeah. When private access is set to anything other than all, it will become a package dependency. However, the version needs to be resolved. Let me look at how versions are managed. NerdBank versioning, blah, blah, blah. Great, great, great. Let me update the project reference correctly. When you use a project reference with private assets not set to all. Okay, so the issue was I brought in private assets all then, I think is the answer here. Okay, go Copilot, go. Saved me from having to look that up, assuming you aren't lying to me. Oh, that's not helpful. I like how you hyperlink the word all in this sentence. Why is that one hyperlinked? And then not to anything of usefulness. Perfect build. Let me verify the final configuration. Blah, blah, blah. Excellent summary of changes. Shut up. Okay, great. We don't need you. I need to quit clicking on the wrong one. So we're going to go close, file, recent, that one. Doesn't appear to have worked. That does not appear to have worked. That did not work. I still don't see anything in the dependencies of the Velopack build NuGet package. Yeah, sure. You go think about that for a moment. We can look at while it's thinking about its life, and all the mistakes that it's made and why it sucks and nobody likes it. You can go through and look at the generate new spec, because this is what's actually building this up. And I am curious if we see the dependencies in here, because this is the information that's actually passed into the task that is going to generate the NuGet package. Just looking to see if there are any dependencies in here. Project references with versions. So it knows there's a project reference with the version, which I assume would be what it does, is it would leverage that to build out the dependency list. That would be my theory. That is a theory, and one that I don't know if it's accurate or not. Project reference, because I would assume that that has what have you done, Copilot? Converted it to a NuGet package dependency in the generated new spec file. I don't know what you did. Development dependency to allow package dependencies. Keep? Is that what's doing it? Find out. It claims to have done a thing. I'm going to build on my own so that I get the binary log in case I want to look at it. And we will see if it's lying to me. Okay, file, recent, load. Still no dependency. This is the Copilot. This is why no one likes you. Is we think that you're lying to us because you're lying to us. You claim that you did it, but I disagree. Mostly because I would have expected to see things. That looks to have done the needful. Package files, like it's got the list of all the things to pack and where to put them. And that looks fine. It's just the question of which one of these things generates Okay, you know what? Screw it. Copy. We're gonna go on a little spelunking adventure. We are going to go on a little spelunking adventure that involves. Wait, that's not where I want to be. That's where I would like to be. We're just gonna borrow this assembly real quick and go looking at how it works. Because I do not understand what is going on, and rather than trying to guess from the inputs, we are just going to feed in the assembly and go take a look ourselves. Okay, so the theory is that project references with versions is what does it. So, but for MSBuild tasks, the key thing to note here, this is the pack task. It is pointed here. These are the parameters passed in. So if we go into this guy here, task, one of these things is probably going to have pack task. Hey, look, there it is. You found you. Okay. So when this guy executes, pack command runner, get pack args. Take a quick look at that. Oh, of course it's interfaced off. Oh, you love this stuff way too much, don't you? Where would you come from? Well, maybe we just hunt the usages of that property then. We assumed it was this one. Copy. And it is going to be package project references with versions. This guy. I would like to find all of your references. They're not a. I just remember where the search is. Want to find all the usages of this symbol. Am I lying? Did I? I thought this existed. Maybe not. Create, edit, merge, open, do the needful. Okay, well that's not helpful. So let's go back into our pack task on our execute, and pack task logic is what we are hunting for. Almost assuredly here. Get pack args. Okay, so let's start here, and we're gonna just do this. So if it has items, converts them to a dictionary, project versions, great. Hash set, populate project and package references. This guy here, because add dependency groups. So that certainly sounds like what we're looking for, but it's coming from these key value pairs, which is coming from this dictionary. This dictionary is here. Initialize package dependencies here. So what are you doing? Sorry, I just realized that's kind of small font. Let's see. Zoom level. I don't know. Can I type in here? 20. There we go. There we go. That's a little bigger. Okay. So what are we doing? Dependencies by framework, project ref. Dependencies by framework is immediately catching my thought because we might need to go back and look at where those come in from. Let's see. Frameworks with suppressed dependencies, lock file target. Think I can just take this, and we're gonna go here, view context, explain how the package dependencies get populated in this code. Beauty, welcome. Well, right now I am on a mission of fertility and hating code. But the actual thing that we are working on is Velopack. So I don't know if I've shown this before. So you can just go velopack.io. Yeah, that'll work. So this is a installer updater framework that I am one of the founders of. It is a free and open source one that lets you build and ship, or I should say, ship and update your apps fairly quickly, and we absolutely love it. And right now I am trying to fix a library on it because we have MSBuild integration that I built a while back that has been broken for a little while, and it was broken for dumb reasons. So working on trying to fix it so that when you reference it in a project, you can just type in .NET publish, enter, and be done. That's the goal, is build and ship updates to your application with one command. That's the end result that we're looking for. Let's see. Package spec, project references, maps project references to versions. Ha. Okay, thank you, Copilot. Let's see. Can I go copy subtree? Or wait, subtree or children? I don't know which one's going to give me what I want. I have this in my MS build logs, but no dependency is added. Why? There. Figured it out, Copilot. Go tell me what I'm missing, because decompiled source is hard to dig through at times. Nope, not where we want to be. Still not where I want to be. I'm trying to see what it would, because ultimately we get down into this library dependency for the message data. I think that's all I want. I think that is. What did you come up with? Root cause. The project reference to Velopack is likely treated like private assets all due to how NuGet pack logic works. Looking at, okay, we just went through this. We just went through this, Copilot. Literally. Private assets, none. Fine. I will let you have your way. But you tried this a second ago and it didn't work. Or I should say, you tried changing it to all. We're going to have words again, aren't we? I don't trust you. You're like that friend that has lied to me too many times, and I just don't trust you. Enjoy the popcorn. That does sound good. Really should have grabbed more Mountain Dew. The problem is I've had over 2 liters of Mountain Dew so far today, so I feel like I'm probably at some sort of limit. But it does feel like I wanted more. Okay, so yeah, you claim to have done it. Now, when you pack, it should include a dependency in the package references. I don't doubt it's going to put it in the MS build log. I doubt that it's going to put it in the NuGet package. You seem to have forgotten the point of this. It will appear as a package dependency in the generated NuGet. You'll note it even bolded the word "will." I'm not so sure, Copilot. We're gonna have some disagreements here. I have a strange feeling in a moment. Recent. Show it to me. See? It's not there, Copilot. You lie to me. You lie. Liar, liar, liar. This is why I don't trust you. Okay. And if I do this again and reload my logs and we go back and look, I'm going to get real good at generating these things. Find my way all the way through this. Let's see. Oh, this is dumb. This is dumb. Have I been getting stymied by MS Build? Oh, Oh, okay. So this is something to be aware of. MS Build likes to be efficient, really efficient. So you'll note it has these inputs and outputs on this generate new spec. And to avoid having to do a lot of work every time, MS Build will look at the inputs, and if the inputs haven't changed and the outputs are still there, it just assumes it doesn't need to do anything. It doesn't realize that even though the inputs, oh, because we haven't changed any inputs to our NuGet package, we've only changed metadata. So it doesn't rerun. Oh, I wonder if I've been getting hosed by that. Okay. Clean, clean, and now build. I want to, okay. So now we're going from a clean state. I suppose I could have just run clean from here. I wonder if I've been getting hosed by not paying close attention to my MS build and it was skipping the task. Oh, maybe we were closer than we realized before. I just want to refresh this real quick just to make real confident. I want to be real sure. Ahaha. Building target, generate new spec completely. Act task. Ahaha. Ahaha. Okay. This makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Let's see here. Let's go here. Open local package. You're not going to remember the folder. Of course you aren't. Of course you aren't. That would be helpful and useful and straight to the point. Still not there. I am not okay with this. I am not okay with this. Get project version, original item spec, MS Build source file. This guy did not generate what he was supposed to. Continue packaging after generated. I do wonder, is there an issue with the fact that I'm building from the command line on the CS proj directly? I don't think so. But now I'm questioning everything that I think that I know, which isn't helping anything. Sorry, just checking all of these here to see if there's anything else. Package files, frameworks with dependencies. Additional properties, MS Build source target names. Let's see. Copy subtree. Come here. Don't save. Don't care about you. Go away and die. Okay. Have these as the properties being passed into the pack task, but the generated NuGet file still doesn't have the Velopack dependency. And while it's thinking about that, I want to go look at one thing because I'm realizing that I believe it had, I think it used to do that properly. And so now I'm wondering if something changed in the way it's packaging, and I just want to check the diff to see if there is something else here. No, it didn't have the dependency before because it didn't need it. didn't need it. Take a look out on NuGet.org. I thought it was there, but maybe I'm wrong. I would have told you it was out there. Oh, wait, hang on. I've got it right here. Dependencies? The old one doesn't have a dependency either. So this didn't exist before. Oh. Okay. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Check. The issue is clear. Frameworks contains both, which means all dependencies are being suppressed. Frameworks looking back at frameworks with suppressed dependencies contains both net. What? Get frameworks with suppressed dependencies. What are you saying about this? Looking back at the code, when a framework is in the frameworks, it skips processing dependencies entirely. Oh, is that true? Once again, Copilot, I only mostly trust you. Okay, so if target's not null and framework with suppressed dependencies does not contain it, then it does work. Okay. That seems like I agree with you. The issue is clear. No, it's not clear. It contains both target frameworks, which means MSBuild's pack task is suppressing all dependencies for all frameworks. This is likely being set by a call to get frameworks with suppressed dependencies. The problem is that private assets none setting on project reference isn't working because there's a higher level suppression happening. Let me check if there is. The issue is likely coming with how NuGet Pass handles include build output and self-contained packages. Since your project has Velopack pack self-contained true, this is probably triggering a behavior where all dependencies get suppressed. Given that that's my own property, I'm going to disagree with you, Copilot. Is to tell the pack task to not suppress dependencies for this project. Now rebuild. The problem is that framework was being populated with all the target frameworks by adding suppressed. So effectively, this is doing an items group clear because it's saying for this set of items, remove that set of items. So it's effectively clearing it. Did you add that in already? Is that what you did? Suppress dependencies when packaging. So, but try this approach first. Okay, Copilot. Okay, let's do this. .NET clear, and then build. Hold on, not clear, clean, then build. That way we can. That way we always be in nice, clean, happy state, or at least in a clean state. Happy is going to be very dependent upon how this works. Press dependent. I don't think this is a real thing. I have a feeling. It is a real thing. Well, kinda. I learned of a property. Please tell me you linked to a real one. Interesting. Okay. This at least is a real thing. And I assume in one of there's a comment in here around this somewhere. Look at this. Okay. That's great. That is a real thing. Let's check our NuGet package. File. Close. File. Recent. Open. Grrr. Grrr. Well, let's check and see if we still have, because the premise may still hold. Does the target still have those parameters set? Yeah, both of those are still there. Both of those are still there. I mean, I'm really tempted to just... Okay, who is populating this? Like, where does this guy get populated? Add items. Okay, walk each target per framework. So this guy is doing an MS build. Frameworks with suppressed dependencies. Projects. Sure. Build project references false. Build in parallel. Great. That's fine. Both of those things build, but like I'm confused. So projects with TFM no build. Task parameter target output. So these guys get invoked, hitting this specialty target, and then those outputs make it into here. So this target got invoked inside of here, which is this guy here. Suppress dependencies when, so this guy includes when this is true, but this should have been false because we just blindly set this. Suppress dependencies when packaging. Why didn't we explicitly change that to false? Why? Okay. Prepare to have your head hurt, which is pretty much how this is going to go. And now I'm wishing I had popcorn. It does sound really good right now. But it's 11:12, so 45 minutes and then I can make waffles. Because midnight waffles are the best. How does this work? How? Pizza, not popcorn. Izzy, that works for people who are in very different time zones. Suppress dependencies when packing is explicitly set to false in a property group. So what's bothering me most is what I think I know about MS Build is not holding true right now, and that's what's bothering me. So I'll just explain. When you call .NET Build, what that ends up invoking is MS Build on your projects. And MS Build gets all of these targets, and it goes looking for a target named build. And then it finds all the dependencies of that target and executes them in any order that satisfies the begin after constraint. Right? So it builds the dependency graph, everyone's happy. And the default SDK says that, well, if no explicit target is specified, the build target is the well-known name of the one that we're going after. In this case, this guy here is calling MS Build on the projects because the magical syntax with the @ symbol here says the pedal there. The @ symbol is kind of like an iterator to rip around through all of the projects with the TFM. And so we can see which projects are passed in, which are both of the ones we would expect. Projects with TFM no build. Like, is the issue that this target itself is being invoked? I don't think it can be. Walk each target per framework. Because it invokes all of these. So projects with TFM. Yeah. Projects with no TFM. I'm a little confused as to how both of these are making it in here. How are these populated? Does it just add everything to it? So let's see. Additional properties. Oh, so it literally just rips through MSBuild project full path, additional properties, target framework. So yeah, so it's just ripping through and okay, so it's guaranteed to populate these this way because I'm targeting 2 frameworks. Great, fine. So it builds those up, invokes, build output in. What are these other ones outputting? Target outputs, yeah. Build outputs in package. Okay, so it's building all of these up. Those are all fine. Like, there's the package files, right? Like, it's figuring all of this stuff out by looking at the output. Okay. I'm with you so far. Frameworks with suppressed dependencies. This target here, get frameworks with suppressed dependencies. Suppressed dependencies when packaging it is checking for true. And so it has to be equal to true. But the only way that makes sense is if something else said it before us. But like this is a top level entry point. Like entry targets. This is the entry point. Like who set that to true? Like that. No, no. That's I want it without the underscore. Stop it. Stop helping me. Stop helping me. Okay. So one of you guys is changing this value. This is going to true. Why is this going to true? Self-contained targets. Oh, have I shot myself in the foot? Property reassignment. Wait a minute. Wait. This is my own file. What? What have I done? Okay, past Kevin was an idiot. What is going on here? Velopack package self-contained. Include all pocket. This guy is the who is using this property? If it's just my build project, I'm going to be a little annoyed at past Kevin. It is literally just my build project. So if I turn that off, that should, in theory, oh my word. So I've been stymied myself by what past Kevin did. Why did past Kevin do that? Past Kevin probably did that because before we were referencing the other DLLs and bringing them in directly, and now and that would avoid those accidentally showing up as package dependencies. That's probably why I did that. Hallelujah. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Right? So okay, right? So there we go. This is here. Now, Maybe past Kevin should go into the black book along with the past Izzy. Uh so this is better. We're no longer suppressing all of them, but I don't want I don't actually want the build utilities ones though either. So now I've got a problem where I want some but not all. Okay. So that gets me okay. 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 This makes me feel a little bit better. We'll probably end up killing off that self-contains target. Let's just add a to-do here. To-do. Might be able to remove the entire self-contained targets file now. Because I don't think it's needed. Okay. What we would like to do though is we would like to private assets none. Right? And then we want private assets none, because that I believe was explicitly what we learned in all of the other stuff is for context, Black Book is the list of names of people getting a lump of coal from Izzy Claus this year. Uh-oh. Well, past Kevin certainly deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. So far you just have past Izzy, past Izzy, and Bob the Fish. Oh, I love it. Oh, private assets all, not none. We want private assets all. That's not how you spell all. That's a lot of things that are not the word all. Okay. Private assets. All. Okay. Okay. All of this just to get all of this to effectively manipulate a little XML file inside of a very fancy zip file. That's all this is. NuGet packages are just zip files with some well-known metadata, XML file, and we're just trying to put a couple lines in it. Okay, can't yawn. Otherwise, I'll have to go do something interesting. Okay, recent files. There we go. Oh, so beautiful. It's almost like, despite how the last like hour has gone, it's almost like I know what I'm doing. Look, just the Velopack references. Hallelujah. Okay, though we have now picked up a lib folder, which is problematic. What is in this thing here? Yeah, that's not gonna work. We do not want a lib folder. Anything in the lib folder inside of a NuGet, it will be a DLL that your project automatically references. So that no bueno. Okay. So we want to not have, which is probably why we had this in here in the first place. And I think if I just grab the include build outputs false, that's all I need. I think that's what I want, is that. And that should hopefully get rid of the lib directory. And hopefully we can get this NuGet package size down a little bit. 36 meg isn't horrible, but it's not ideal. Okay. So let's close. Recent. Nope. File. Recent. There. Oh, look at that. Look at that. No lib directory. Yay! 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 Okay. I'm done drawing crazy lines. Okay. We finally have a bloody NuGet package that looks correct. Happy dance. that got all of that through there. That built all of that. Package reference, project reference, conditional reference here just to make sure that it builds first. That brings that in. That references the appropriate output directory. Okay. So, given that, now we go back to here. What I would like to do, so this is just a little app that I was building for automatically typing because I had a particular project I was on that made me sign into a particularly obnoxious VM where you had to have a long, complicated password, but they banned the ability to copy and paste from Password Manager, which annoyed me. And so what did I do? I wrote a little app that can read off my clipboard and type in the characters that it sees. Was that potentially the hardest solution I could come up with? Yes. Does it work? Also, yes. So .NET Global Tool is out there, and there's a little GUI application as well because reasons. Because I needed a GUI application. Here, I can show it real quick. It's a very simple one. It's so. Where did it go? What monitor is it on? There it is. Okay. So, for example, let's see, Charles VIII, which AI are you using? So I am currently favoring GitHub Copilot, though the backing model that I like at the moment is Claude Sonnet 4.5. So at least for .NET related stuff, I feel like I get the best results out of the Claude models. But I do bounce between, like, GitHub Copilot isn't just a single product. Like, even though it's all under the same name, they are different kind of client applications when it comes to how you interact with it. So, like, the one in Visual Studio has slightly different tools available to it than the one in VS Code, for example. But anyway, it's a very simple thing. Like, for example, if I click this, I've got 1 second to come over here, click into my little chat box, and poof, it typed it in and pressed enter for me. Huzzah. Right? So it kind of cool. Or like if you want to do something like this where it does a big long Copilot command, right? It just types out all of this. And spoiler, if you want to know what I use this for, go to GitCon. I should probably plug that again. People who haven't seen it. Free online conference from GitKraken. There's a chance to win a Switch or a remarkable paper. Day one is a lot of builders, Devi related stuff. And more importantly, this session here, not that I'm biased, is going to be completely awesome. Hypothetically speaking. I have the inside track that the speaker is amazing and the content will be awesome. So, if you are interested. But it's free information and it's always one of my favorite conferences. Anyway, so this thing is using Velopack to push out the releases because if people want to play with it, there is actually, like, I'm actually hosting it out on my Velopack stuff. But what I would like to do is I would like to change my NuGet config so that I've got a package source that is, we're going to call it maybe local. And then we're going to go, I guess I got to do add key to local value. And then I need to go wherever this folder is. This guy goes here. Plug you in there. That way you get there. And then I want local to pick up. Oh, I put this outside the wrong thing. It goes like that. Yep, it goes like this. And I want all of the Velopack, but you have to spell it correctly, NuGet packages to resolve from my local source instead of NuGet.org. Okay, great. So if we go here and look at our NuGet sources, I guess you got to stop debugging for this. Let's see. Chelsea, I give Sonnet 4.5 full auto approval rights and tell it to use as many tokens as possible to make something. It'll poop out a working application 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, I give it a fairly high degree of permissions. I don't have it full YOLO mode, but like a good chunk of my MCPs, I just give it rights to rock and roll on, especially if they're MCPs that I trust to do things. It does crank things out. The one thing that I have been bitten by is it'll jump out a working application, but if I don't clean up the code, I end up with slowly worsening code bases. And so there's always cleanup to go after it. But yeah, it does work shockingly well. Okay, so if I go pre-release and I want to be on my local source, and if we browse my local source, let the chaos begin. Let the chaos begin. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to add the build package to that. Because the goal here is I want to test this. So we are going to drop this out of here because in theory, the build package should be a drop-in replacement. My packages, I'm going to just put these both to the same version for the moment, even though one of them's on NuGet.org and one of them's local. Because until I publish this, it's not like I can realistically use that. Okay, so step 1, do it build. Because the downstream dependency should guarantee that it just works. Let's see. Detected package downgrade. Huh? No? Maybe I'm missing something. This has E80, E80. I mean, I should, so one, okay. We're going to just do this real quick, and then we are going to do a full rebuild just to make sure that it works. Let's see. Detected project down. I don't have anything else that has a transitive dependency, do I? I don't think I do. Nothing else in here. Like, this is a very small app. I'm confused as to where this is coming from. Autotyper UI build has, so the way to read these errors is it's giving you the path through each of these. Oh, but I didn't remove, I did remove that. About to say I didn't remove the Velopack reference from here. So what's confusing me is this is claiming that Autotyper UI references Velopack build and Velopack and that they are at different versions. I have a strange feeling this is lying to me because it is not actually there. And even the output window confirms that. I think I may end up just having to restart Visual Studio. There is occasionally some caching that can bite you with packages when you change package sources. Yeah, I'm going to go with Visual Studio is not always hip to certain file changes. So I'm going to just relaunch and check and see, because that's the path of least resistance, first of all. Because the error doesn't make sense. It seems to indicate a reference that is no longer there. And that's fine for this local test. I don't let's see, Izzy, off-topic question. Are you a line manager and have to do performance reviews of your team? If so, how would you tell a team member they need to start remembering a thing and need less hand-holding through everything? Oh. So let's see here. Am I a line manager? That's question 1 to answer. Kind of. Kind of. So the where I work, it's not quite set up that exact way. So they have they don't call them managers, and this is somewhat unique to where I work. I don't think this is common in the industry. So just to be clear, this is a little more off base. Is every person at the company has somebody who's set as their mentor, which is not quite a manager. The mentors do something close to a performance review. The difference being is that the review from your mentor is not like necessarily tied directly to compensation or similar. It's more about trying to help people improve. Whereas there's also team leads, which can sometimes be the person who's either basically running point for a project, or it could be the person who's running point for the client itself. Just because of the nature of where we work, sometimes there's only like one or two people for a client, and so it doesn't really make a lot of sense in all cases. And so depending on how it's going, you might receive that kind of critical feedback from either of those two sources. I Depending on how you look at it, there are several people at the company where I am their mentor, and there are some people where on teams where I am running lead on it. But the teams where I'm running lead, I'm only the technical lead. I'm not like the client manager or similar. So just level set of where I'm coming from. So I will do technical reviews, and oftentimes those come more in PR form or direct meeting type situation. See, I'm a line manager for people who I don't work with. The idea being they can moan to me about people in their project teams, but I also have to do awkward PDR meetings. Well, Sid, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, that makes sense, Izzy. It is. I think that's probably more in line with what my company refers to as the mentor, because the mentors may or may not be people that you directly work with on a day-to-day basis. They could be people on completely different teams or otherwise. So, in fact, sorry, running through my list real quick. None of my mentees are on my team or on any of my teams right now. And so it is a little bit more akin to that. I think to go back to your original question of how would you tell the team member they need to start remembering a thing and need less hand holding or similar. I oftentimes, so I abhor conflict. I really don't like it. And so sometimes I am not as firm as I probably should be because I'm bad at it, and that is an area that I know I am not great at. I oftentimes try to take the lead a horse to water, to try to get them to drink rather than trying to just say you need to drink more water. So for a team member that maybe needs some encouragement to need less hand holding, oftentimes I would put it to them in the form of trying to understand why they're asking questions so much. Because oftentimes hand holding, at least where I'm at, comes in the form of they're immediately jumping at and asking questions. So trying to push them to solve things as much, or try to put some guidelines around, hey, before you ask questions, honestly, get them a rubber duck. Have you told your problem to the duck? Have you try to start putting some algorithms, I guess, in front of them? Like if they're an engineer, oftentimes that thing goes well. Ask Google. Yeah, a handful of things of have you done X, Y, and Z before you go to the question, because that can go one of two ways. Like I've done things where you tell the team member, hey, you need to, we really would like to see you try to work this out on your own before you come and ask questions. But there also may end up needing to be training that has to go with that, because what I've seen quite often is once the team member realizes, oh, I need to look stuff up before going and asking questions, sometimes they come up with very creative solutions that aren't quite what people were expecting or wanting. So sometimes they're asking questions because they need training and don't know what to do. But I think if they at least get to that point where they are then trying to do that investigation themselves, then the conversation can pivot to, okay, let's now at least work on your solution so that you can see how to move there, and it slowly starts to train them up on what the correct solution could look like. This does all assume that the person is A, receptive to feedback, and B, wants to get better. Because that's something I've never figured out how to solve, is an engineer who doesn't want to get better. Like, I can't train away apathy. That just doesn't, I can't do that. That's an HR problem for when we were hiring. We try not to hire people like that. We want people that A, take feedback, and B, want to learn and get better. Because if they at least have that mindset, I can, like, the technical side can be solved eventually. That's not usually a big issue. I can't solve attitude. That's a hard problem to solve with just straight training. So, I don't know. I hope that helps a little bit. Maybe. It is one of those areas where I have been playing around with trying to figure out how to do better mentoring for people. Yeah, if they don't want to improve, then maybe they should try something else somewhere else. Yes, correct. Correct. At that point, I think that's usually, because that's only happened to me twice in my career where I've run amok of this, where I feel like I'm out of the tools I have are insufficient at that point, and I usually have to punt and call in somebody else to help, because it's like I don't know, like I can teach them technical, but if they aren't interested in learning, like, I don't know what to do, and now I'm confused. So yeah, the one of the hiring rubrics that we like to use at our company is based upon, they call it the 3 A's. Mostly we had 2 A's, and then we had to make the third word work. So attitude, what is it? Attitude, ability, and aptitude, right? And so attitude, or I should say ability, is obvious. It's what somebody can do. Aptitude is how quickly they learn, how quickly they can increase their ability. And attitude is how much friction there's going to be along the way. So that's always the fun one. Let's see. Unable to find package with Velopack. Did you not pick up my... Oh, I need to put these... Probably the fact that I got these package sources out of order, because the first one's matching on everything, and then the world is not working. Okay, let's try this again. Let's then restart, because I think the NuGet config is one of the ones that Visual Studio is not hip to dealing with right away. Okay. All this just to compile with a local NuGet package. Shouldn't be hard. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Found. Unable to find Velopack. Oh, is it because... Oh, it's because I've done this. Okay. I didn't have my globbing pattern correct. I think I have to do... something of that nature, if I remember. Pack version. Okay. Start doing this in... Let's try. Come on. Arrange act assert is what my mind jumped to with AAA. Yeah, that is correct. And based on the fact that we had a bunch of engineers in the room when we were coming up with that, you are not the only one whose brain went that way. Though sometimes those nice, happy accidents they work out well. It makes it easy to remember, though I do always have to do exactly like that, where I have to go back and kind of mentally jump through the hoops of what are each of the A's. Why are we failing to find these? Because this okay. Manage NuGet packages. Do I have to do something for pre-release on the, I don't think I do. Browse. There, you found it. Just check the air here. 170. Yep. That's kind of what we want. I mean, we can pull this in directly and see what, if that helps it resolve better. I do the pre-release dependency versions. Ooh. Did I pick up an extra one? Oh, this guy has NuGet versioning. I think that's expected because we rely on NuGet versioning because Velopack uses NuGet packages as its container. Okay, so we'll save that. Now are you happier? Like, you know where the package is, and you know where to find it. Okay. You just needed to be told. Okay. Okay, so the good news is this guy compiles, works properly. Now, what we would like to do, now that we've got this rocking and rolling, is we need, I'm going to open up. So there's multiple ways to go about doing this. But when you restore a NuGet package, it caches it inside of a local folder, typically user directory.nuget or packages. And the problem being is when I publish new ones, because they're the same version, NuGet doesn't care. It assumes packages are immutable, and so it won't re-download a version that it already has in its cache, even if that version is from a local source, right? So when we publish updates, we're going to have to just torch that sucker. Okay, so now what we would like to do is actually implement this thing and see it work. Okay, now we build. So the pack task. So for those who want to play along at home, this is on the getting started direction. We are effectively going to be doing this line down here, right? VPK pack ID, your pack ID version, packdir, publisher, output, main exe, right? This is what we want to automate away, such that when you do a .NET publish, it automatically runs this VPK pack. That's the end goal, right? It's only taking me, 2 hours to get here. Okay, so on our pack task, we have this tool runner. We want to build the pack args up, and most of these are going to come in from here. And I think we have everything referenced. So I just want to check here, because on our pack task, we have all of this stuff, right? These are effectively all of the options for VPK pack. Just fine. Great. Since we have all of those, we should be able to come in here, and I'm going to circle back to the build arguments because that's going to be what we end up needing next. This thing's taking an array, which I think is what we're going to want, but we need to get this thing into here. So what we need to do here is find the VPK executable. So we're just going to go with private string find, or actually, you know what, we're going to do this. Find VPK. Right, because we are going to come in here and we should know our current location. If we don't, we can certainly get it. We can certainly get our current running location. I was just looking to see if we have anything that we are passing in, because we want to resolve from where this file is being loaded from, not based upon our working directory, because our working directory is going to be likely the project directory of the project that's referencing it, whereas this targets file is going to live inside of the NuGet. And if we do it from inside of the NuGet, we can then just go the up directory, right? We can do the, because if we resolve from our targets file, we can just go up a directory, gets us to the root, and then down a directory. I guess I can close and reload this. I wonder if I need to close. Because we can just go up a directory, tools, net8, and then we're off to the races. And that, I think, gets us all the way there. Yeah, and I think we're going to be reliant on .NET. I'm just trying to decide if that's the way we actually want to do it. I think it is. Because I think we don't want to rely on the exe itself. I think we want to do .NET and pull it in, which means we need our current directory passed into us. Let me look and just make sure that we don't have it already passed in. I think these are all Velopack ones. So we aren't strongly typed TFM. We're grabbing our DLL, which is fine to be able to get our task. I guess we could grab it from the assembly location, couldn't we? Because the assembly location will get us all the way in as well. Wait a minute, I just noticed we don't have... We aren't packing our Velopack build DLL in here anymore. That's not going to work. Suck. I'm willing to bet that lovely little self-contained thing is to blame again. It was probably doing a great job of it. Kind of like this thing here might have been doing. Because this is pulling in the, look at that. Okay, so we're just going to bring this guy in here. We're just gonna, I think we're going to go here. We're going to turn that off. And that off. And then we're going to grab that self-contained target, because this is just ripping through all of our target frameworks, target framework monikers, or you'll see people abbreviate it TFM, and just dumping those in. I think this is what we'll want. Bring it down here. Okay. Then let's build this over. I might have to rebuild, but it might pick it up. It might pick it up. It looks like it's taking long enough that I think it's actually rebuilding. I think I can just click here and have it rather than doing the close and reopen. I think. Come on. Build. Little progress bar. Not all code paths return value. Of course they don't. I haven't called it yet. Get it? You're unhappy. No one likes you. I understand. Just build. Just want all my stuff in a right happy place. The actual implementation is not going to be that hard. It's just going to be invoke VPK. Okay, so right here, recent files, there. There we go. Okay, so now we've got, okay, this is what we're looking for. Oh, it did include way more than I wanted again. Okay, that is a problem for a different day. But we will deal with that later, I think. I just want to make sure that the Velopack build stuff is here. So we can go from our DLL up 2 directories and then down into tools and then into net8. So we are going to go 1, two directories, down into tools, down into net 8.0 slash VPK, I believe gets us into what we want. VPK DLL, I think is what we want to go for. Because we can .NET run on that. So string VPK path, and we're going to go with path get full path. I don't want to do path get full path because that is not going to be correct. Because this is based upon your working directory. All right, we're going to return VPK path. Let's see. If file exists, false. No. You're doing so good. You want to help? There. Okay. So we'll do that for now. But I need to get my current running directory. So we can do assembly, get executing assembly, which is the one that you're in, dot location. Then we need to do a path combine this with this. And actually, I suppose I should probably not do each of these as flashes. We'll just do this just to be better about our platform agnostic. I realize Windows will happily handle the forward slashes and that should handle all of our Nix platforms, but we're going to do this. We're already using path combine. We might as well do this. Let's see. String VPK path get full path. This should give us a fully qualified path that is rooted in the NuGet package. Let's see. Isn't there a relative path thing where you can pass the projector to get what you need? Yes, sort of. So MSBuild does have that concept where you can leverage, like, there's these MSBuild, this file, current project, a handful of those things. The problem is because we are a NuGet package, not the project being invoked. The working directory is likely going to be the project or solution directory. We don't have control over that. And we are going to be running inside of an extracted directory structure that matches this NuGet path, but it's going to be inside of wherever the user's NuGet package cache is located. So we kind of have to relative pathy our way around, and we can't rely on a lot of the MSBuild built-in variables because most of those are targeting like the current project, current output, those types of things. But what we can leverage is this file directory. So I could pass this into myself if I wanted it, but because I'm already using it to look up the DLL, I can just use my own DLL to walk my way back out and around. And I could. No, I can't, because I can't use relative paths inside of the code because things like path get full path are going to end up, if you feed a relative path to get full path, it resolves it based upon your current working directory. This is one of those gotchas that a lot of people get bit by when building console applications because they always assume that their executables directory is the working directory. It's like, well, that's not always the case. And so double checking where you think you are is usually a good idea. I think we're going to go here first. And I'm fine with the throw because in this case, we are going to be like, if this tool isn't here, something has gone wrong with either our packaging or the NuGet extraction. We got issues. Okay, so down here when we run tool, run VPK, I think what we're going to end up doing is .NET, and then this guy here Um, doesn't I vaguely recall this thing having an argument list, but there's I can't remember which versions of .NET had that. There is a it is just arguments. Yuck. Yuck, 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 yuck. I think if I change myself, because I think Net 8 actually has arguments list. Yeah, see, this, see, not available in Net 472, but available in Net 8. Grumble, 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 grumble. And this is why in our main library we have that util, because we wanted the ability to be able to do this kind of thing. I think, yeah, because this is, so apparently Net 5 or greater has argument list versus the other one that does append arguments. I think it's down here and does all kinds of extra stuffs. Let's see here. Invoked here. That's invoked there. And where else is it invoked? Why does this... Oh, it just outputs it for the debug string. I was like, wow. Izzy, have a good one at work. Yeah, and prep for an awkward performance review meetings. See you next week. Okay, that's why those things are available in both, because we invoke them on both sides. I'm really tempted to include this in because I think I want these utilities. In fact, I think I can just access them now that I have a package reference. I think I can, because I can just do using velopack.util. Right? Isn't that under util, or is it not? Oh, but this is an internal class. And I can't make it public. I don't really want to expose it to callers. But what I can do is I can split the file and then file include the portion that I want. Process extensions shared CS. We can do this. So we can get away with oh, we don't have self update.net or update lang version. Not my issue right at the second. We'll get to there in a minute. Kernel static partial class. Okay. And now what we can do is we can just move over everything that I want into the shared half of the equation. So you go over here because I want you, and then I need the, oh, I need to make you static. And I need to put partial in the right place. Partial must always precede class. And then I need to grab the relevant methods down below. Because I don't want to recreate all of this stuff. I think I need all of this. If I remember right. Not, I'll know in a second. And that all goes there. Yeah. And the usings, save that. Okay. Now what I can do, clean up the usings there, is I can file link in the shared one. So I can go with existing item. And I can reach up and I can go across into the main Velopack library and say, I would like that file, please. I'm just going to grab the shared one, add as file link. Boom. That one wants me to go to file scope namespaces, but that will be bad. But now I can do this append arguments list safe and just append in all of the arguments, and I don't have to worry about the escaping or similar, which I think will make my life much easier. We go pack task down here, or no, I want to look at the run tool. So run VPK. So we're going to pull out the process start info real quick. We're going to go here, go here. We're going to go, put that there. Start info. Stop it. Quit helping me. I will make you happy in a moment. Just be patient. Okay. There we go. So we go like that. And then I think I want to pull you out. And then I want to do start info. Add arguments list safe, which is what the whole reason for bringing that in. And then arguments. I want to make an IEnumerable of string. And I don't care about the extra variable. So, but I do need you to be IEnumerable of string. It goes like that, that goes like that, and then this becomes start info, goes like that. What's your problem? Okay, and then you become IEnumerable of string. Let's see here. I don't really care about most of this stuff at the moment because I have a feeling we're about to just make you public. Then I think we're going to just kill off this. I don't know that we are going to expose a capture output variable. I think we're just going to hard code that. Because I think we are going to do that for now. Where is this captured output going? Let's see here. We don't care about this bool at all. I do think that I'm probably double logging here, because I'm both throwing it into the string builder and calling the logger log warning. So this may be problematic. Yeah. That's probably better like that. And then we probably just need to prefix arguments into here. Because I think what I'm going to want is, because I think I need to append VPK, and then I need to spread arguments into there, I think is what we want. I don't think we need this to do anymore. That goes away and doesn't need to exist. And then that goes there. Oh, and this is where we want to plug in our VPK. We want it there. Okay, so that will run all of that. I think what I actually want to do, though, up here is, because we've got multiple things using the arguments collection down below for outputs, I think I want to actually do this concatenation up here. That way, done once. Oh, this is an interesting one. I wonder what this does on multiple enumerations. This is an interesting. I think this is a bug way I've implemented it. Let's test real quick. I want to write a test to see if that is in fact a bug. I'll show what I mean here in a moment. Let's go here. We're just going to write a quick test. Public void test enumeration. Right. So here's the setup. Right. So private void IEnumerable or private void, well, private string stuff. Right. And it's going to take in an IEnumerable of strings. Items. Right. And we're going to do something like items gets 1 comma spread items, right? And then we're going to do something like console write line string join comma separated of items. And then I want to do effectively the same thing, but I want to do space separated, right? And the question is, we can make this void now. In fact, we can just move this right inside the test. I think, see, IEnumerable string items 2, 3, 4, right? I don't know what this is going to do, and I'm let's string first. Let's, rather than console writing it, let's just hash it in a variable. String first 2, because that's how you really poorly name a variable. So the idea with enumerables is there's deferred execution. And so when you grab an enumerable, it moves itself to the beginning and just calls move next, move next, move next to get the next item. I'm curious if the enumerable is going to reset, and if it resets, how it evaluates this collection expression. So are these the same value? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it doesn't actually. I wasn't sure how that collection expression was going to reevaluate. Okay, so we're fine. Not an issue. I wasn't sure whether I was going to see it a second time. My internal compiler just could not grok where that was going to happen. Okay, we're fine there. Because my fear was that this argument was going to get iterated once here, and then again further down when it does things like this. Right? And this is actually wrong. This should probably just be a string join of bases here, because that argument is going to be wrong. Oh. Everyone wants a string. Okay. There we go. That builds that up. That calls .NET VPK, run VPK. We go to our pack task. This is going to call run VPK. We shouldn't need this anymore. We just have the args. We're off to the races. Before it was getting an exit code, so we should actually return the exit code down below. So we're going to grab, change this to an int. And then we are going to grab process.exit code. We're going to get rid of this return. That gets us to there. And I think that gets us rolling. I think we just have to fix the one on the other side. Yeah, so this is going to be run VPK. Don't care about you right now. And that should just work. Okay, so compile yourself up. And then I think we're going to try to debug this. Let's see. Back test. What is your problem? Why do you not think the build framework is referenced anymore? Oh, because these guys are dropped because we went private assets, so they don't get exposed, so the test project doesn't know about it. Okay, so we need to come up here and bring you guys in as well. I don't know that I need this. I think that is a legitimate. Okay, I think that one's fine. Build framework. There, so that's okay. So it just needed a moment to wake itself up. Duplicate package reference found. One's duplicated. Duplicate package reference. What? The duplicate package references are Microsoft Test SDK. Okay. XUnit 293, XUnit 293, XUnit runner. Huh? No. Am I the only one who doesn't see it? Must just be me. We can turn this guy off. You're a... Oh. Sorry. Still practicing with my foot pedal. Foot pedals are hard. We'll say my son was very confused. They've been taking music lessons, and I built these foot pedals from actual like musical keyboard foot pedals like many years ago. Ironically, purchasing these pedals from the same place where my kids are now taking music lessons. So they saw them and they're like, "Oh, I know what those are." I'm like, "No, you don't. No, you don't. Let me assure you, you don't." I have gutted them and repurposed them. They are no longer serving their original purpose. Why do we have? Okay, these are not necessary. Like, no. Do you actually have foot pedal? Yes. Foot pedal. It's my control key. Because my pinky is hard. Like, having to reach all the way down to that thing. And I put it in a box. Very ingenious. It was one of the very first soldering projects I ever did. What do the pedals do? It just presses the control key. That's literally it. When the pedal goes down, it's the same as pressing the control key on a keyboard. And I know that because I literally soldered the ends of the switch on the foot pedal to the little microcontroller on a keyboard's little pins, because I went through it one day with just a little wire touching the pins and mapping out which sets of pins went to which keyboard keys. Like I wrote a little app that just displayed which keyboard key was being pressed, which sounds worthless until you're trying to do something like this. And then I literally just took my little wire and mapped out which pins went where, because it's kind of like Battleship, right? Like you just like give one set of pins a letter and the other set a number. It's like B4. Okay, B4 is mapped to the A key. Okay, great. And then with that, you can solder those switches on. Newer keyboards, it's harder to do because the circuitry has gotten so tiny. Like there's no like metal pins to solder on in a lot of cases. But I did this on a keyboard that was very old and very easy. And the nice part, keyboards haven't changed that much. Like, it's remarkably simple to do. Okay, this should build now, I think. Yes. So you get a little foot pedal. And I've been practicing with it. Because I technically also have a shift one as well. But the switch on the inside of it has gone out. And so I need to tear into it and fix it. Because I literally have got, like, I bought actual musical keyboard foot pedals because they're very simplistic in the design. Like they're just a switch, and like the backside of it, it's just a 1/4-inch audio cable, which is effectively a simple 2-wire system. And so all I did was take those 2 wires and hook them up to the appropriate pins on the keyboard's microcontroller, and poof. Then when you press the pedal, you make it work. It's amazing how much you can do with just a 2 simple wire system. I do not understand why you have lost your mind here. That's something I do for a game. I just have a foot pedal for a specific ability or something. Yeah, well, and I have a I don't have it sitting next to me at the moment, but I can pull it up. Like no, not this thing. So Logitech made this device a long time ago, and I have one of these things, and I absolutely love it. These things, that's a horrible picture. Let me find me a better high-res image. Yeah, like one of these. Yeah, that looks like it. But it's just a programmable keyboard. Like, this is part of why I've never bothered to get like a Stream Deck, because a Stream Deck is a programmable keyboard where the buttons are fancy little lights. Like I know they have extra software and stuff that does things, but at the end of the day, that's what the hardware is. It's a programmable keyboard where the buttons are cool little LED screens. Like, that's it. And I've got this, which is a completely programmable keyboard. So I usually just program this sucker up with different modes for when streaming, and then wire that into my OBS to change scenes and whatnot. And the only disadvantage is, the buttons don't have the cool little pictures. So they are very difficult to find anymore, but I swear this thing is bloody bulletproof. It has had water spilled on it. It has been dropped. It has been thrown. It's survived multiple moves. I don't think, like, this thing was built to last. The big disadvantage is Logitech has stopped producing newer drivers for it. So at some point, I'm going to get hosed. You can still force the old software for it to run under Windows 11, but it's showing signs of them wanting to kill it off. And like, I've looked at, because Razer makes something kind of similar, but it's not quite the same. Yeah, I use my numpad for my Stream Deck. Yeah, see, that works perfectly well. At my office, I actually have a little programmable 9-key that I bought off of Amazon. It's nothing fancy, but I just bound because it's a programmable thing. I just bound the number keys to the upper function buttons, and I use that as well to then wire up different functions to those. Like, all my OBS stuff is bound to like F13 through I think it's F13 through F16 or something like that. And so it just waits until it sees one of those and goes, "Oh, okay, I know what you mean," and we're off to the races. I am kind of questioning if I need any of these tests, because these are reflection tests. So we're gonna just The solution here is we're just going to burn this entire. I don't know if any of these tests are valuable. Problem solved. But yeah, I love my Logitech board. I absolutely love it. They they make very quality stuff. Um, so I've often used them. Though I will say for my typing keyboard, for a long time I had a Logitech keyboard, but then a colleague of mine showed me his mechanical clacky keyboard, and then unfortunately I tried it, and now I have a mechanical clacky keyboard for typing because it just works. Okay. Um, I am getting annoyed with this project completely since there's nothing in it, so we're just going to unload it and the problem's going to go away. Project can't have errors if it's not loaded. Could not copy because it was not found. That is a lie. Rebuild, figure it yourself out. Figure yourself out. So I have been looking at a couple different alternatives because, like I said, the writing's on the wall for the Logitech thing of eventually me not being able to run the old software to support it, or the drivers causing problems and similar. So at some point, I am going to need to replace it. And I've been looking at different programmable ones. I want to get, I don't remember what it's called. When you have the little spinny dial button, rather than just the Stream Deck with the programmable buttons, I want something with programmable buttons and a dial. I've got a couple cases where I actually want to be able to like turn things up or down. Like I've got my audio on a physical dial that I can turn. Why are you why are you now having trouble? Could not copy because it was not found. Visual Studio, you are slowly hinting to me that it is bedtime. I think that's what it's coming to. But I really want to see this thing just run once. That's all I want to see is it run once. Is it that much to ask? Shouldn't be that much. Spinny dial. Yes. Like these. Spinny dial. I want to be able to turn the dials. That's my audio board, or that's my controller that I plug all of my audio in. I am weird. It actually took me a while to find a board that does this because that has 4 inputs and 1 output. And so I can plug 4 different devices in, and each one of those devices, I have an individual volume control feeding into my set of headphones. I have a bad habit of like joining calls, having music running, and like talking to different like being able to have all of my things on their own volume dial is mwah, love it. I don't think I've ever used more than 3 at a time though. 4's overkill. And most of the time I could get away with just 2 because most of the time I'm only running 2 separate inputs. Like if I get to a third, it's usually because I'm running music and then I'm on 2 calls at the same time. And so being able to dial those things up and down, don't be on 2 calls at the same time. It is it is not recommended. Makes my head hurt, but sometimes I want to be listening to 2 calls at the same time. It's very handy. Like hypothetically, maybe you want to be listening to GitCon and then it's your team stand up. But you don't want to miss anything for GitCon, so you leave that going and then join stand up anyway. Hypothetically speaking, not that anyone would plan to do that. You've got all the bells and whistles. Um, Not really. But I do like having knobs and dials. What is going on? Why are you could not copy because it doesn't exist? What is something has fallen over and I don't know what. And I'm unhappy about it. Okay. What have I done? That's fine. That's fine. That's a delete. We're okay with that. That's just code going away. We're fine with that. We're fine with that. Yeah, hypothetically. Yes, hypothetically. I do get made fun of a lot by certain team members who think that I'm weird for doing that, and they don't understand how I can do it. I started doing the dual audio thing many years ago with I want to tune in. Um yes, I am speaking at GitCon. Important one. So, day 1, if you scroll down, this is the session you want to go to. It's going to be awesome. So yes, I will be there. Day 1. Um I started doing it many years ago with audiobooks. And I usually joke with people that the moment you can do Pride and Prejudice while being on a stand-up call and interacting, that's when you know you've done it. Cuz I did that at one point. And I got through a lot of audiobooks when I never had to pause them because there was an incoming call. You just turn the volume a little bit. And that's why I need the volume controls. So, yes. So yes, GitCon, it will be awesome. And more importantly, you also get entered into a drawing for a Switch, which is pretty cool. Okay, so the tool runner I think is fine. Did I do something in the directory build targets? A new line? That's irrelevant. We'll just delete that. Okay. And then the test. What happened that this stopped building? Was it the file link? Build tests. This thing is technically there, but it's unloaded. Yeah, so there's what is it called? There is a website for audiobooks that are in the public domain. Um yeah, this. Um and so it is basically volunteer readers. And so the obviously everything that you're going to get is going to be older things that are old enough to fall into the public domain. And some of the readers are amazing. Some of them are less amazing. But it does give you uh, a catalog. And so for a while, I was doing a bunch of old classics because they were readily available. And as long as I could find a reader that I could tolerate listening to their voice, that was good enough for me. Though I will say this, if you use it, check to make sure the reader finishes the whole book, because oftentimes they record either chapters or sections. And there was a number of times I got bit because I started listening to a reader thinking, oh, this is great. And then didn't realize that they hadn't finished the whole book. And that was frustrating to me. So just check. It's worth checking. But it was a great source of audiobooks. Okay, so that I just do not understand why I'm getting bit, and I'm feeling like this is a full .NET clean rebuild situation here in a minute, because it's building the NuGet package, it's doing all the things. Because did it execute a clean? No, it just executed a rebuild. Oh, Libby, I do have a library card. I do punch that in. Well, interesting. I do like their guess. Find your nearest library using your probable approximate location. Haha, yeah, you're gonna try to geolocate my IP address. Good luck. Um. Uh. Yes, yes. No, my wife has it even worse. Like she oftentimes the book series or similar that she gets wrapped up in are often the ones that didn't get finished. Like, yeah, don't do that. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about that. Okay. So now we built just fine after restarting and cleaning and rebuilding. So, huzzah. Okay. All of this, whack this test. We don't need you anymore. Now, I do want to rebuild this, and I should see the NuGet package show up here, of course. Why do you keep defaulting back to NuGet.org? It's like you don't know what I'm telling you to do. Well, let's just go back, do the thing that we did before. Come in here and uninstall, fly, install. I know this is really hard for you, Visual Studio, but I do not understand why you keep picking the wrong source. Feels like something I'm gonna have to do. Okay, look at that. Shockingly, uninstalling and reinstalling the exact same package. I wonder if it's because it's then in the cache and so it dodges the problem. Wonder if that's it. That wouldn't surprise me. Okay. Because when you do have multiple, so it shouldn't be landing on multiple sources, or maybe it is. Maybe it is landing on multiple sources because my NuGet.org is a star. Because when there's multiple sources, it's whichever one responds first gets to win, which is a fun thing to realize when you're doing supply chain injection. Okay. So if I go here and I go here and I go CD auto typer, yeah, and I go into here and I go auto typer UI, the project we just added this to, and I go .NET publish, enter. This is what we would like to have work. We would like this thing to publish, and I would like it to build me a Velopack release. And the good news is, it worked. Well, let me rephrase. The good news is, it ran our code. The bad news is, it fell over and died with the file not found exception because it couldn't find VPK in VPK build tool runner. So, that no bueno. That no bueno. And the way we debug this is kind of hacky. We come down here, we do something horrendous. We go debugger, launch. That goes there. We're gonna rebuild this. It worked-ish. Yeah. We failed successfully or unfailed unsuccessful. Yeah. I can't do Boolean logic in my head right now. So that's the other problem. Which is also an issue when you're trying to be a developer. Doing Boolean logic is kind of an important prereq. This is something I also would not trust a Copilot with. Copilot would botch this. I am very convinced of it. Or at least it would be difficult to give Copilot enough permissions and access across my system to do this setup. Okay, so that goes like that. We come here. We come here. We do a rebuild. We see if it picks up. Yeah, it once again has lost its mind. I wonder, can I ban... I wonder if I could just turn this off since the rest of them are cached so that it only can land on the one source. Nope, that still doesn't make it happy. Okay, we're just going to go in here and manage project references or manage NuGet packages. That's user secrets. Good news, there's no secrets in this repository. That would have been embarrassing. We are going to uninstall. Yeah. And we're going to reinstall. Come on. Figure it out. You can do it. I believe in you. Ish. Okay. And then we are going to come down here and we are going to .NET publish, and it is going to throw an exception that looks like this. And then we are going to attach to the running .NET publish process with the debugger over here. And now we are good to go. So we are going to step into here, do this, do this. I guess we didn't actually build up the args, so that's also kind of going to be an issue too. But what we really want to do is go in and look at this. So VPK path is I think that's actually pretty close, isn't it? Looks like what I would expect. Something is not right though. Let me see. I've got this thing open. So let's see. C users, Keto NuGet packages, Velopack build, 013 G80, great, build, great. Oh, I need to go up one more directory because I should not see build in here. I should be going straight to tools is the problem. That's the issue. I need one more whack. That's the problem. That is the problem. Okay, so we are going to once again rebuild. And while that thing thinks about its life, I am going to close the directory. Embarrassing. Good news, got it right here. Go up one more. I'm going to whack that. Once that builds, we are apparently going to come in here and manage NuGet packages just to uninstall and reinstall it. Yeah, I don't doubt you're unhappy. There's probably errors. The package has probably been deleted, been locked. You don't get to touch it right now. I really just want to see this thing run once successfully, and then I can go to bed. Oh man, it's 12:40. Almost getting close to 1. And there's the VPK depths problem. I think that's my signal. That is my signal. Okay. Go here. Hey, Kraken, write me a commit message. I'm way too lazy to think. It is way too late for me to be thinking about what this needs to look like. Come on. There you go. Thank you. Commit, push. I'll send it, and then I'll continue to hack on it more. And then we will see where that ends up. So, since my brain cannot comprehend the linkages between multiple projects and why it's lost its mind on some of these dependency things and what I have broken, I'm sure I just need to spend a little time cleaning it up, and it'll probably make itself much happier. But with that, thank you everyone for coming and hanging out. Again, getcon.com if you are interested. It will be a great conference. Spokane.net user group if you are interested in C# and all the new stuff that came out this year, or we were still in November, so yeah, just a weeks ago. I can't do date math either in my head right now because it is that late. So with that, I will tell everybody happy coding. Thank you for hanging out. See y'all next time.